Welcome to Clarke Stadium in Edmonton and ICU Video's broadcast of Game 1 of our Prairie Football Conference weekend doubleheader with the Calgary Colts taking on the Edmonton Wildcats. Good evening, football fans. I'm Kevin Donnan for ICU Video, and we are very pleased to bring you broadcast coverage of the Colts and the Wildcats. Calgary comes into this game 0-4 on the 2018 campaign. It's been a very long season in Calgary already, but head coach Tim Kearse believes that 2019 begins tonight as we begin the second half of the 2018 season. Tim Kearse believes that 2019 is looking up, and with the wealth of talent in the southern part of the province, these Colts won't be in the paddock for very long. As for the Wildcats, they're looking to bounce back after last week's disappointing loss to Winnipeg here on home turf. The PFC are in 5th place and are looking to get back into the playoff hunt, but they have to win tonight, keep winning, and get some help along the way. Head coach Darcy Park says it's been a very competitive and good week of practice, and they're ready for tonight. 3 weeks ago, these teams met. The Wildcats destroyed the Colts 48-0 at McMahon in Calgary, but there's a lot of bad blood, and it's a great rivalry between these two clubs. When they met in Calgary, these two teams met and combined for 50 penalties. It could be a wild and woolly one tonight. It's Saturday. It's Calgary versus Edmonton. It's a great rivalry, and with loving tribute to Ed Whalen, we could be in for a ring-a-ding-dong dandy tonight on the turf at Clarke Stadium. Let's send things upstairs to Dave Rozak and Rob Harrod with tonight's call. Gentlemen, it's going to be a good one tonight. Lots of bad blood.
You betcha, and it's amazing the similarity that these two teams are going through right now. One is 1-3, one is 0-4. No doubt about that, Rob. But both teams have been through that youth thing, and right now it's Calgary's turn to go through it.
Well, the Cats were in that exact same position in the last couple years, and so they're trying to climb out, and they're a little bit on the upswing, so they've got to keep that going. And in talking with Darcy, he's going to have some of his young guys in there tonight to really push the veterans, because they want to continue that. They don't want to slide back down to the bottom. Calgary, I think they've got a long road ahead of them, because they're struggling this year, but again, a lot of youth, and that's what you want to build on, and you got to start somewhere.
The other similarity too about this game is that they take one game at a time, because the Cats aren't out of the playoffs completely, but they really have to have things go their way.
Yeah, you know what? They've got to start with the win tonight, and that's the reality for them. And they've got to improve, and they've got to gain some momentum. I think if they can gain some momentum tonight, they'll have a little bit of confidence going into next week's game.
And as Kevin mentioned, Coach Tim Kearse coming in, parachuted in last year near the end of the season, had a lot of issues to deal with, but he's managed to keep this team together, and that's the big thing going into the future.
Yeah, it's a tough job for a head coach to keep them going.
All right, I think we're getting ready for the kickoff here, and it will be the Edmonton Wildcats kicking off to the Calgary Colts. The Wildcats in their retro blue and white uniforms, which, by the way, I happen to love. I think they look really, really good down there.
I agree with you. They look really good. They match the snow around the side of the field.
And the all-white uniform of the Calgary Colts. Here's the kickoff. It comes down to about the 10-yard line, taken there by number 22, Jack Halverson out of Lethbridge Collegiate, and he brings it up for a run back of close to 10 yards on the play, and they'll move the ball and put it down at around the 26-yard line, and from there the Calgary Colts will get things underway with Cole Bellway at quarterback, and Bellway, a former Calgary Dino.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what this offense does. They've obviously struggled this year to get points on the board, and so again, against a very tough Wildcat defense, it's going to be interesting to see how they try to dissect the defense and gain some yards.
All right, 3 receivers to this side of the field. There's the handoff up the middle, and it's taken there by number 25, David Bowers. They fumble the football, and the Wildcats are signaling that they picked it up. They have. We'll wait for the final call from the officials. They say it's Wildcats football on the 30-yard line, and right off the top, a bad break for the Colts, a good break for the Wildcats.
Well, a tough lesson for a young quarterback and a young team trying to gain momentum in Calgary. And first play of the game, they turn the ball over. And again, credit goes to that defense. They're aggressive. They're getting hands on the ball, and the ball comes out.
All right, Justin Swedish, the starting quarterback. You'll recall last week, Swedish was taken out of the game with a knee injury, a sprained meniscus, I'm told, and his right knee is heavily bandaged and braced. But he says he's ready. He's 100% and figures he can still hang in there for the rest of this football game. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. There's the handoff. And again, this one will go straight up the middle, and it's taken there by number 29, Braden Chilliback.
Yeah, I see we also had a late flag on the play, so I'm guessing it's probably some aftermath after the play, so we'll see how that impacts the result of where this ball is going to be placed.
And we have an injured Wildcat down there. It looks to be number 56.
66, guys.
66 is... okay, we don't have a 66 on our list.
Well, guys, and Kevin down here at field level, we had the turnover, but we all took a walk around the field, and I mean, let's give credit where credit's due. City of Edmonton did a magnificent job of clearing the snow. I can tell you, the turf is in wonderful condition for the first day of autumn. It's actually there's no issues with the footing, not like last week where we had the rain, but it's basically the field is in fantastic shape, guys. So really the field conditions won't be a factor. It's just a little bit windy and cold, guys.
66 is Colton Lacoste, and he is seeing his first action of the season and his first play, and he is being looked after down there on the field. Looks like it could be his right knee, so that's not a good way to start off your junior football career.
No, it isn't. And again, you as a young player, you always want the opportunity, right? And you always want to get in the game. You want to have that opportunity to show the coaches that you can play at this level. And so again, getting injured on the first play, hopefully it's something that he can recover from shortly and he can get back in there later tonight.
So Coach Darcy Park, getting back to Justin Swedish, I talked to him a couple of nights ago, and he was pretty sure that the young man can probably complete this football game. But watching him in practice, he says he can't run all that well, but he can sure still pass the football, and really he's got one of the better arms in the league.
Well, he's a tough kid, and you know what? If you're going to have to do a lot of work to keep him out, so I'm sure he wants to be there. He wants to compete. He wants to be there with his teammates, and so he's going to show us what he can do tonight on a little bit of a banged-up leg.
Well, there you go. Colton Lacoste is coming out under his own volition, so he is limping a little on his left knee. So hopefully he will be back in this football game. And it will be first and 15 for the Wildcats. There's the handoff. The ball is fumbled and picked up at the 45-yard line. And the Calgary Colts come right back with a break of their own. Recovered there by Zach Jantz, coming up from his DB position to recover that football and bring it all the way up to about the 46-yard line. So could be one of those football games.
well, let's hope it's not a sloppy game between two teams struggling to kind of get things going as organizations. And again, not a great way for the offense to start. You're right. They need to keep that momentum. They've just given it right back to Calgary.
All right, a momentum buster, no question about that, and a momentum maker for the Calgary Colts. Back in the pocket, Bellway looks downfield, has a man open, overthrows him at about the 30-yard line, intended down there for number 82, Brandon McIsaac out of the St. Francis Browns.
Yeah, coming out of a great organization in St. Francis down in Calgary. They've been a dominant high school team for many, many years, and so he's experienced, he knows how to win. Now he's got to translate that to the junior level and see if he can get his offense going here. And I like what the offensive coordinator is doing. Let him throw the ball downfield. Let him take shots downfield. Tell this defense, hey, we're not afraid to throw the ball downfield and challenge your secondary.
Three receivers to the far side, straight back in the pocket, looking downfield once again. There's the pass. It is incomplete again. Overthrown, intended this time for Alex Groshak of the Calgary Cowboys Midget program. Speaking of great organizations, news last night out of Cochrane. The Cochrane Cobras, who are a Tier 3 team in high school football, won their 40th consecutive football game, and that is an Alberta record. How's that?
You know what? It's amazing what they're doing down there. I've had opportunities to actually interact with some of their coaches over the years at the provincial championships and at senior bowls and stuff like that. And you know what? They have a great program going, and they've done a lot of good things. And you can see here we have a big return.
That is number 8 for the Edmonton Wildcats, Jake Withrow And you can see right there why Jake Withrow is the leading punt returner in the Prairie Football Conference.
You know, and that was a great job of fielding the punt in the air. It was dangerous, and he was on his horse the whole time to get to that, but that was what you want to do as a special team. And looking back to last week, the Cats couldn't get it together, and they struggled on special teams to and it was one of the areas they gave up a big touchdown, and so it's great to see them bounce back with their own big play to really gain that momentum after a couple turnovers early.
He got that on the run at about the 50 and brought it back 30 yards. There's the pitch out on the right side, and again taken by number 29 for the Wildcats, Braden Chillibeck, and Chillibeck moves the ball ahead about 9 yards or so it'll be 2nd and 1.
Well, and a good job establishing the run early. You can see the little read option he had on that play. So he read the running back up the middle, and then it was a quick toss out to the edge and give him space. And you know what? The Calgary Colts are going to need to do a better job of tackling. First contact probably came at about 2-3 yards into the run. He ended up getting nine yards total, and so they're going to have to do a better job of tackling if they want to keep this offense at bay.
Okay, Chillibeck is the single setback. 3 receivers to this side. There again, the handoff this time to the left side to Chillibeck, and Chillibeck will crash over the line of scrimmage for a gain of a couple yards on the play, and it will be enough for the first down.
Yeah, he did a great job of finishing, stretching forward, making sure he got just far enough to get the first down. It wasn't by a lot, but it was a second effort. And when you talk to running backs about finishing runs, it's an important part of the offense that instead of getting tackled and getting pushed back or getting stood up, you want to finish, you want to be leaning forward, and you want to really stretch to try to get the first down or the extra yard, because the extra yard in the end can make the difference on so many plays and so many opportunities for an offense.
All right, we might have well, they're calling it a first down. I think they were going to go out and measure it at first, but then the official ruled that it was a first down, and now he's talking to the coaching staff on the Wildcats sideline. Play set to get underway with 11:41 to go in the first quarter. No score between the Edmonton Wildcats and the Calgary Colts. This time a two-man setback, and out there is number 47, Zach Prankert. Here's the pass. It is into the end zone and just short of Withrow. He had to come back for it, but wasn't quick enough, and the ball is dead, and it will be a 2nd and 10 situation for the Wildcats, with Justin Swedish showing a good arm there, but just coming up a little bit short.
Yeah, kind of in between two receivers.
Yeah.
I would have been interesting to know the actual route combination, because really they shouldn't be two guys that close. It kind of went a little far for one and a little short for the other, and so they're going to have to clean that up and make sure they can execute that route combination a little bit better than that to give Swedish a better look at what he's throwing to.
One receiver to the boundary side and going that way. The pass into the end zone, picked off by the Calgary Colts. That's Sean Adams. He's up to the 5, still going to the 10, and is finally tackled at about the 12-yard line. Great job of coverage by Sean Adams.
So we're always going to ask these questions. Right knee's sore, went to turn, had lots of time to throw the ball, but he didn't really get a lot on it, and that is bad ball placement by him. He's got to get that up and over the top to give the receiver a chance to catch it. Unfortunately for him, the DB, great coverage, turned his head soon enough, made a great play on the ball. So Swedish is going to have to do that, and it's going to be curious to see, pushing off that right leg, is he going to have the strength he needs to deliver the balls when he throws downfield?
Ball is on the 13-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Colts. 3rd turnover of the game already. And there's a handoff, and it goes nowhere. Great job of tackling along that line. Coming up from his DB position was Chomper Hippie.
Well, once again, the DBs are sticking their noses in there. They love coming up. They love supporting the tackle. And you know what? When you have your free safety and you have your DBs coming up to do that, you know those DBs trust their teammates, because you got to trust your other DBs that in man-to-man coverage, you're going to take care of your responsibility downfield.
I don't know whether Nimi Idoki would agree with you on that, but there's the pass. It is complete at the 25-yard line, taken by number 17, Dallas Burke. And that is his 10th reception this season. He's got over 75 yards in reception time so far this year. I talked to Nimi Odiki for the defensive back coach for the Wildcats the other night, and he was saying that maybe not.
Well, we'll see how they do. And
he doesn't like his DBs getting too involved in the tackling.
Well,
it's all a matter of, that's for the Huskies, of course, but it's all a matter of what you want out of your players, I suppose. There's the handoff. Gain of about 3 yards. David Bowers out of Holy Trinity.
I like how Calgary's mixing it up. They're not worried about taking shots downfield. They've obviously completed some passes. They're mixing in the run, and I think that's going to be really important for those guys to continue to keep the defense off balance. And again, now they got to show that they can be consistent, and they got to convert on 2nd and 6 here.
2nd and 6. Ball on the 37-yard line. 3 receivers to the far side. They go boundary side this time, and it is complete at the 45-yard line. Nice job by David Bowers once again. He being covered on the play by Ty Smith.
Yeah, and I think it was a good route combination. 2 guys down here running quick curl routes just at the sticks, which is what you want to do, and that's good discipline by the young Calgary team to get the first down, to run the route to the sticks. Tackle was there, but he still made the first down because he ran the route to the proper depth.
All right, ball on the 45-yard line. First down for the Calgary Colts. Their first down of the game. There's the pass, wide open over on the 50-yard line, and of course he goes to the ground, and it will be ruled dead. Reception by Alex Rozak.
Well, again, great job by the receiver to come back to the ball. Not a well-thrown ball. Again, coming up a little short. If he gets a little bit more air and a little bit more strength into that, he catches that standing up, likely turns upfield and could potentially get a first down. But still, needless to say, great effort by the receiver to actually make a catch, even though it was a gain of a couple yards. See where they spot the ball? Looks about 2-3 yards.
No, they say it's right back to the original line of scrimmage.
Now, it looks like he got 3 yards.
3 yards.
Again, a lot of times you're going to see receivers not make the effort to make that catch because it's only going to be for 2 or 3 yards. But 2nd and 7 is a lot better than 2nd and 10.
A throwing down for the Colts. 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers over on this side. Motion goes left. Straight back. And now being hurried and taken down for a loss is Cole Belway. In on the tackle was number 91, Dylan Lanigan, out of Emmy Lazert.
Not a successful play for the offense, but Cole did a good job of tucking the ball away and not giving it back right there. And so, again, they're going to give their punt team an opportunity. Now, punt team needs to do their job because last time they gave up a huge return. Great job to special teams on the Wildcats, but that cover team's going to have to get downfield, and as a team, going to have to corral the returner.
Jake Withrow. Ball is going to go straight to him. Good spiraling kick. He picks it up at about the 40-yard line, has some room along the sidelines, and is run out of bounds at about the 50. So a run back of close to 10 yards and good field position for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Yeah, their defense, again, although they gave up a little bit of ground in the Calgary's end of the field, they did end up getting the stop, and now they've got their offense in decent position. Again, probably about 11, 12-yard return. Again, that makes a big difference. You're not quite so far in your end zone, and it's a positive feeling for your offense to start in decent field position.
1st and 10, ball on the 50-yard line. Wildcats with 7:35 to go in the first quarter. No score. Taking on the Calgary Colts. 3 receivers over here. There's the handoff, and stopped at the line of scrimmage, but still going, and finally back to the original line of scrimmage. A great job of ball carrying by Chillibeck.
Well, great effort not to take a loss on that. Interesting from an offensive standpoint, with knowing Swedish may not be as mobile. They're still running that read option. And again, for those football fans out there, the read option is basically he has the choice to leave it in the stomach of the running back or pull it out and take it himself. We'll see how much he decides to pull it and run with it.
Out of the shotgun, into the middle, a pass complete at the center field stripe, and taken down there by number 22, Dustin Pollock. And again, one of the youngsters that he's brought into this game, Pollock out of Austin O'Brien.
Yeah, and again, Darcy talked today down on the sidelines. You know, he's got a bigger roster tonight because it's a home game, and they've actually sat a couple veterans, letting the young guys have an opportunity to show what they can do. And again, not only are they trying to prove to coach that they can play for years to come, but they want to make that 40-man travel roster.
Pollock, a second-year man. And it will be a 3rd down. And we've got about 5 yards to go for the first down, so that will mean the Wildcats will be forced to kick this one away. And back after a little bout with the flu last week is Rosario Camerata. Camerata, one of those soccer-style kickers. And punters, he gets a good spiraling kick. Left-footed, by the way. There it is, taken down there at about the 25-yard line by Sean Vandervlis. And Vandervlis is run out of bounds after a run back of close to 6. And the Calgary Colts will take over in their own zone.
Yeah, and again, ball security is another issue. The ball came out, and again, the Cats didn't quite, I think, get their hands on it before it went out of bounds, but the returner fumbled the ball out of bounds. Again, ball security. Their coach is going to be on these guys about ball security. I know it's not maybe as wet as it was last week here, but again, the ground's cold, there's still moisture on it, and these brand new footballs, when they use them for games, can be pretty slick sometimes. So again, a lot of balls hitting the ground right now, and the coaches aren't going to be happy about it on either side.
Bellway still in at quarterback. Motion goes to the left, back in the pocket, looks into the middle, fires, hit just as he was got the ball away, and intended there for number 82, Brandon McIsaac. Again, one of those St. Francis Browns products, and it goes just short of him, so it'll be second down.
And guys, Kev, sorry to jump in here, guys, but one thing I can tell you on the field is that the wind has picked up significantly, and guys, I find like I do more weather reports from the sideline these days, but it has begun to snow. It's the first day of autumn, so it almost makes sense, but guys, the wind has picked up and it is starting to snow, so that could affect field conditions, guys.
Straight out of the southeast, too. Thank you very much, Kevin. There's the pass. It is incomplete. Over on this side, and again intended for Brad Hillier, but I'll tell you what, he was hit and hit hard.
You know, the DB read that right from the get-go, and you could see the quarterback didn't see the DB breaking on the receiver. Obviously, the receiver had to turn around, look back at the ball, but that's exactly what you expect out of your DBs. You see the guy go, react to it, and then, of course, the ball is thrown there. He made an outstanding play. Good job of not getting there too early to take a penalty, but perfect timing, keep the ball out of his hands, and now force the punt team to be on the field.
Evan Aldrich getting a good spiraling kick away down to about the 50-yard line, again taken by Withrow. Withrow dipsy-doodles along the sidelines and is finally run out of bounds in Calgary territory at about, we'll see where they mark it down, but I think it's about the 50-yard line, so it'll be good field position again for the Wildcats.
Yeah, great starting position, but, you know, as we get through this first quarter, you know, there's only 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and I think the longer this game stays close, the more excitement you're going to hear from the Calgary sideline. You mean they want to keep in this game, and you know what, the Cats are coming in knowing they're probably favored to win this by a fair bit. They need to get some points on the board here and not give Calgary any hope that they're going to make a chance to keep this game close.
Incomplete on the far side and intended down there for Carter Lawson, and Lawson out of Wainwright. We'll just check that number for you. I believe it was number 83. No, number 80, Brandon Rebnord.
And again, I do like the fact that they are taking shots downfield, but the shots downfield, two of them fell short, and that one just wasn't on target.
Again, back in the pocket. Again, looking into the middle and incomplete. Again, one of those passes that was too long for one and too short for the other. I'm not sure that, you know, you may be right that Justin just isn't able to plant that back foot and let her go.
Well, if you're not pushing off that back foot, that's where you generate your power from, and you get all the torque in your body as a quarterback from that back leg. And if he's not really able to push off, or that's tight because of the wrapping on there, he's just not delivering the ball like we know he can.
He is, guys. It's he's laboring on that right knee, and he is. I would not be surprised. I know we talked about Darcy Park pulling. He's going to pull the switch, if he needs to, because right now Justin is having a hard time, very gingerly on that right knee. So I think, guys, don't be surprised if you see Cody Olsen very soon.
Yeah, and on that return, another fumble by the Calgary Colts. Again, they let it bounce on the ground. They let the ball hit the ground. It came right off his shoulder pad. Another opportunity for the Cats. They were just a little bit behind and couldn't quite get onto the loose ball, but Calgary has definitely got to take care of that. If you ever want to get on that upswing, turnovers is something that you don't need to have skilled players to avoid turnovers. You just need to hold on to the ball and teach that to your players.
Colts deep in their own zone. There's the handoff this side. Again, it was David Bowers, and he is stopped after a short gain. One thing we should mention, and Kevin mentioned that Cody Olsen is set to go. He is indeed set to go. They have been running a series of plays designed for his athleticism, and during practice this week. So he's not going to come in cold like he did last week. He's prepared this week.
Yeah, and I had a chance again talking to Darcy about exactly that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later when we see their offense.
Back in the pocket, Bellway has a man open, incomplete, just out of the reach of the intended receiver, Dallas Burke. And I'll tell you what, he picks up that one and he could be gone.
Yeah, he is going to be gone. And again, they're getting in behind coverage. And we talked earlier about the support of the run that the secondary gives. And again, when you are going play action, when you fake the run, you draw some of those guys in, it gives you a chance to get over the top. And really in that play, the free safety was nowhere to be found. And we've talked about in that past week, the free safety creeps up. You get posts coming in from behind, and there's an opportunity. They just missed on that one.
So a 2-and-out for the Colts, and they will be kicking this one away.
And the Colts are missing a player. They've only got 4 men on the line of scrimmage right now, and it looks like they're going to have to either take a penalty or someone's going to have to get out there in a hurry.
All right, the play clock is counting down, and that is going to be it. They will take a penalty, and that'll move the ball back and give the Wildcats even better field position.
So they're going back 5, and now the coach has to make the decision. Do you punt it away or do you give up 2? And to be honest with you, with the game going the way it is, I think I would actually give up 2, because right now the offense of the Wildcats not really moving the ball as well as they probably should. And gaining the field position may give their offense just enough space, but looks like he's ready to punt this one away.
The punt returners are standing at about the 42-yard line, and he will take a knee and give up the 2 points.
Oh, there we go.
Way to go, Coach.
He must be thinking the same thing I am. I mean, you know what? In a game like this, let's get out of our own end. Let's try to switch the field position. Now the job turns to the other parts of their team and making sure they don't give up big plays, see if they can win that field position battle, because Calgary has shown glimpses of their offense moving the ball, and so if they can get a decent field position, which they really haven't had all game, they're going to have an opportunity here to maybe get some points. But first, the Cats going to get their shot.
That's right. 3:26 to go in the first quarter, and we have some action on the scoreboard. It's 2-0 in favor of the Wildcats. When you look at the total offense for this season for these two teams, really there isn't a whole heck of a lot of difference. The Wildcats have allowed 516 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns, and 416 yards on the ground and 4 TDs. So that's it's pretty even up as far as the defense is concerned for this Wildcats team. The offense for the Calgary Colts has not been all that productive either. On the ground, I think they've rushed for something like 400 yards and 5 TDs.
Yeah, and again,
no TDs.
I mean, right now you can say, it's been sloppy. We've seen the ball hit the turf too many times today, so both teams need to shore that up. And the team to do it first may have the opportunity to take a little bit more of a lead in this one.
There's the kickoff. It is fumbled at the 35-yard line and then picked up and taken forward for a run back of close to 12 yards on the play. And in there with the football was number 25, Ramon English. And I expect we'll probably see Ramon English coming into this game at the setback position.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the wind plays into it. We don't see a whole lot of action on the flags, but when we were down on the field before the game, you could feel the breeze coming through. And if you look up at Commonwealth Stadium, the Eskimo flags are stiff and straight out to the side, so there is wind out there.
There's the fake, and the pitch out goes to David Adebayo, and Adebayo crashes his way up over the center field stripe for a gain of about 11 yards. So already now they're starting to mix up the plays a little bit, and a little misdirection, and Adebayo takes off for a good gain.
And that's the second time we've seen that exact play, and both times it's resulted in 9, 10, 11-yard runs. So that's it's obviously a play that's working for them, and they see how they can expose the Calgary defense and attack it.
All right, Adebayo now is the single setback. Motion goes to the right. There's the fake, and taken off is Justin Swedish, and I guess that answers the question, doesn't it?
Well, he's willing to pull the ball, and again, when you run that read option enough times and you give it, you're going to open it up. And I think great decision by Justin Swedish to take a little hook slide, not take a shot, because again, he doesn't want to take that first shot of the game. It's hard. Sometimes it's good for a quarterback to take that, to believe in your leg. But right now, he knows it's sore. He's got to protect that. Good job of making the read and taking the hook slide so he doesn't take a shot.
He was running a little gingerly, I thought.
He did look. He definitely didn't look like his usual self.
That's right. So a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2. Ball on the 47-yard line. This time they go with twin setbacks, and first man through is Adebayo, and Adebayo is, number 47 is Zach Prankard, the big guy out there. They got two big guys playing at setback, and it's almost like a fullback thing.
Well, that's like a tight end. That's like a tackle playing fullback. That's a big dude out there, and he was just rumbling forward, and that's what you want to do. But he came up short, and he's got another 6 inches to go. So we'll see if Swedish takes this himself and just plunges forward to get the first down.
He's under center and finds a hole and actually picks up about 2 yards on the play. And it'll be a first down, and the Wildcats offense on the move with 1.5 minutes to go in this first quarter.
And that's good. Gives Swedish a chance to take a kind of low-risk run where he's going to take a shot and just to, again, build that confidence in his knee, because the psychological part of the game, especially at the quarterback position, is so important. And you want to get him into the game. You want to see if he's ready to take shots. Otherwise, you may have to make a change.
All right, there's all kinds of movement along the offensive line, and I think moving first was one of the big tackles on this side, number 55 for the Wildcats, and that is Richard McGuire out of Ross Shep. So it'll be illegal procedure.
Guys, Kevin, from the sideline, I've got an update from the out-of-town scoreboard. With time just ticking away in the first quarter, the Saskatoon Hilltops lead the Regina Thunder 7-3 in Regina. So everything going according to form for the league-leading Hilltops, guys. And there's a big one coming up next week with the Huskies and Hilltops as well.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Here's the handoff again, right up the middle. Still going with it is David Adebayo. He finally is taken down, but not before he picks up another 8 or 9 yards on the play. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage.
You know what? That's a lot of confidence in your backs and your O-line when you, on 1st and 15, decide to hand off on an inside run. And, and that's exactly why he has the confidence in his run game right now and the offensive line. The offensive line are getting bodies on bodies. They're moving the guys backwards, giving the running back opportunities to make plays. And again, poor tackling by the Calgary defense allowed him to get almost all 15 back.
Adebayo is the lone setback. Handoff, fake, and pass complete to, again, it's the big guy, number 47, Plagnard. And he is seeing a lot of action out there.
Well, I mean, he is excited. You could just tell coming out of the backfield how excited he was. He's like, this is my play. And then again, he's coming down on a smaller DB, and the DB is going really low, and he came down and he dropped the boom on him. And so, great way to finish the run, but good hands for a big man.
And he is a first-year man. He 6 foot and about 220 pounds. Here it is once again, the handoff to Adebayo, and he is stopped at about the 16-yard line. There is a flag on the play. It came out of the backfield, and it looks like a holding call against
that's usually where the play, that's usually on a run play where that's going to be, and so we'll see what the refs have to stay here. Looks like they're talking to Calgary, so I'm guessing it's going against the Wildcats. Again, penalties, not something coaches want to see, and so they're going to move them back. It's probably going back 10 by the looks of it, and it is indeed. Going back 10, holding it, it's going to be first down and 20. And again, if you know you can run the ball and get 14, 15 yards on a run play, that's you're in a good position as an offense.
Just getting back to Zach Prankard, he's out of Centennial High School.
What I really want to know is what position did he play at a Centennial High School, because I'm guessing
it ain't going to be running back.
I don't know if it would have been running back. He may have been a guard. He could have been a tight end, but he's getting his touches tonight.
And his brother Tim happens to be number 35 out there. He is actually a running back.
So it's a running back family, clearly. And they've got him in there, and you can see on that last play, he's kind of an offset back. He's about a yard behind the tackle, a little bit maybe on his outside shoulder. And again, he's really in there to do a lot of blocking, but they obviously use him as a blocker, and he really did a good job sealing the end on that last play. Unfortunately, the running back came on the inside into the group.
So that is the end of the first quarter of play. 2-0 in favor of the Wildcats. Let's go downstairs. Here's Tim. Kevin.
You can almost call me anything, Dave, these days. Well, you know what, guys? ICU Video and our Procast coverage of Prairie Football Conference action. We want to congratulate the Edmonton Wildcats on their 70th anniversary season and head coach Darcy Park on his 20th anniversary and his association with the Wildcats. Of course, it's a very special season with the new uniforms. There's a lot of fundraising, and I've got a great guest coming up at halftime. Brad Cartel, the vice president of the Wildcats, will be joining me on the ICU Video Procast halftime, and we're going to be talking about a lot of exciting programs and a lot of initiatives coming up for the Wildcats. So stay with us here on the ICU Video Procast halftime report coming up in another quarter's time here. And as we can say, it's a little bit of a chilly night tonight, but it's a great night for football at Clarke Stadium. And later on tonight, we'll be talking about the Dalkey Mobile. So stay tuned, guys. Lots to talk about.
Oh, I can hardly wait for that, Kevin.
They're set up, I'll tell you, Dave. It's the best motorhome in the PFC.
And you've been inside?
I have not. I was not into the compound, but I'll tell you, there's only a select few who can get in there. But it's just a fantastic way to build the culture for the Wildcats, and it's a lot of fun.
I got the password for you.
Oh, well, then you know what?
Joe
you
sent
and I, right at the end. You got it.
Okay.
Do they still have that barbecue going at halftime?
Yeah, I'll tell you,
send
man.
Someone down and
there was a party going on. It was a real tailgate party, and you know what? Jaden Dalkey, who is of course one of the best players in the entire nation, has got a little bit of an entourage following him around, and it's just it's part of Darcy Park's quest to build culture and get things going, and his team captain has done a remarkable job. So the Wildcats are still trying to claw their way back to the top, but they're definitely building a great culture, guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. It's Justin Swedish in the pocket, looking into the end zone, has the man open. What a catch on the 2-yard line by number 81, Lucas Howe, out of Archbishop O'Leary. He had to go up and back for that one.
He did. He had to maintain his focus throughout, because again, landing flat on your back after a catch, it's work to hold on to that ball. But what a great dart thrown, and we talked about it earlier on that go route on the outside guy. He's got to get the ball to the outside. Perfect ball placement and a great catch by the receiver to get him right within striking distance in the shadows of the goal line.
And we see another one of the newcomers to this Wildcats team coming out onto the field, and that is number 5, Leighton Barasenkoff, out of Hunting Hills High School down in Red Deer, 5'9", 160. He's a receiver, and so as you were saying, and when we talked to Darcy before the game, he's going to get as many youngsters as he can into this game.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to do that. And again, I mean, I think he'd want some more points on the board at this point in time of the game, because if you would have told both these coaches at the end of the first quarter it's going to be 2-0 for the Wildcats, I think you'd have Darcy, who's really, really upset, and you'd have Tim on Calgary, who would be not so. He'd actually be fairly happy, because like, hey, we got to keep this close. Now it's all about making plays, right? If Calgary whoever makes the next couple of big plays is going to take advantage. And again, right there we saw one made by the Wildcats. Great throw, great catch. Now they're close to the goal line.
They'll mark it at about the 4, and it'll be first and goal for the Wildcats. Second quarter just underway. Justin Swedish at quarterback. David Adebayo is the lone setback. 3 receivers to the far side. There's the handoff left side to Adebayo, and he just powers his way through a couple of tacklers for the touchdown.
And you could see there the first contact was made at about 3 yards, but a mistake the defensive linemen and linebackers made is they're trying to tackle him up high.
Oh, yeah.
And when you tackle a big running back like that up high, you are not going to get him down. And they didn't get him down. Even though there was 3 or 4 guys, he got all the way to the end zone and was still standing at the end.
Well, you saw him coming off the field. Cameraman Dave Foley got a great shot of him. You can see the strength in his upper body. I mean, he's huge up there.
He is. He is a solid back, and you cannot afford to let a big back like that get steam. And he had the steam, he had the speed going in the end zone, and tackling up high is never going to get it done.
Camarada puts it through the post, through the goal post, and his left-footed kick will give the Wildcats a 9-0 lead with 14:22 to go in the first half. Good start to this quarter for the Wildcats. and all because of that one great pass to Lucas Howe.
Yeah, and again, 2nd and long. I think it was 2nd and 18 at that point. Again, great pass thrown, and that's what you want. You want to be able to stretch the field. And over the last few weeks, we haven't seen the Wildcats complete a lot of deep plays, and that's a great way to do it. And again, you're going to start to see the secondary in the Calgary Colts team. They're going to start to soften a little bit. They don't want to get guys in behind them. So as they soften, you can mix it up and go middle or short and intermediate routes as well.
All right, Camerata to kick off. Gets a good end-over-end kick. It'll come down to about the 20-yard line, and it is taken there by Brad Hillier. And the Bow Valley Bobcats running back brings it all the way back up to about the 30-yard line. So a gain of 5 on the run back, and it'll be first down for the Calgary Colts.
Yeah, good little run back. Good job of catching the ball in the air. Again, great job by the cover team. Although he caught it in the air, he didn't really get a lot after he caught it. So again, hats off to the cover team doing their job, keeping Calgary inside their own end.
First down for Calgary. 4 receivers to the far side. There's the pitch out to Hillier. Hillier gets it around the outside and is stopped after a gain of a couple yards on the play and some extracurricular activity going on. Nice tackle by Noah Perkins out of Bev Facey, another first-year guy.
Yeah, once again, great linebacker move, good speed, because again, you could see Calgary on that play. They were trying to get to the edge with their speed. They didn't. We've got a penalty here, and we're going to watch the ref to see what the calls. It looks like it's going against the Wildcats.
Jaden Dalkey coming off the field. Looks to be okay for a bit of a rest, and it will go against the Wildcats. That will move the football up to about the 47-yard line, and a first down.
Yards onto the end of Hillier's run. It'll be first and 10 Calgary now from the 47.
This time they send 4 receivers to this side of the field. Back in the pocket, looking into the middle. He has a man open, complete at the 30-yard line. A great catch by number 82, Brandon McIsaac.
So right after the penalty by the Wildcats, an undisciplined play, they go right to the middle of the field. And interesting enough, Jaden Dalkey, again, we talked about his level of play. He's playing at such a high level right now. He is not on the field for the defense. So interesting, not sure why, but maybe we can get some insight into that as to why he's not on the field. And again, Calgary goes right after the middle of the field and completes a big pass.
Gain of about 34 yards on the play. It'll be first down for the Colts. There's the handoff, and reversing his field and going up the right side was Brad Hillier. And the second-year running back will make a gain of close to 10 yards on the play. We'll see where they mark it down. Actually about 8.
So good to see Calgary's offense again mixing it up. Again, we've seen them throw deep. Finally, they complete a deep pass. Now they go back to the run. They get a great production on first down to make it second and a yard and a half. A good opportunity to get a new set of downs here. See if they can get the ball in the end zone and keep pace with the offense of the Wildcats.
Cole Beltway still at quarterback. Again, a handoff to Hillier. He tries to get to the outside, does, and is hauled down, but not before he picks up the first down.
Well, again, a great job getting to the edge. Good patience by the running back, and we've got someone down. Can't quite see the number from here. Oh, there we go, number 19. Thanks to our zoom-in camera.
There we go. And guys, Jaden Dalkey, there was nothing wrong. It was. Let's come over to the sideline for a bit of a breather after that UR penalty. So, as Rob pointed out, Dalkey comes off the field, and instantly the Colts attack right down the middle where Dalkey would be. So I think it was more of just a bit of a reminder for Jaden about a couple of things about the URs. So. Jaden is perfectly healthy, but just needed a play or two to focus, I think.
Sam Jones is the injured Wildcat down there, Kevin, and he's going to get up under his own steam, and looks like he'll be okay.
Well, I could get a sense from Coach Darcy Park at the beginning of the game when he talked about how he had some young guys doing some dressing for the game, young guys getting some more playing time to push the veterans. You're going to lean on those veterans often throughout the season to set the example. And again, you made mention of the UR taken earlier. You don't want your veterans doing that. You're not going to be able to eliminate that totally out of the game. But again, you want your veterans to set the lead. You want to set the tone for how you're going to play football when the whistles are when you're in between the whistles.
Bellway at quarterback. The setback is David Bowers. They hand it off to Bowers, and Bowers tries the right side of that Wildcat line and is stopped after a gain of a couple yards on the play.
Yeah, looks like he got 3 or 4 on the play again, mixing it up, run, pass, which I think is good. And again, they're not out of this game. They've kept it close, and I think that's a good thing. You know what? They feel like they're in this game still, and that's an important thing for your players to learn. Like, hey, we're in this game. Let's go and let's go get 7. Let's not settle for a field goal here.
And the longer they keep it close, the more confidence they will get. There's a fumble in the backfield, and Bellway is able to pick it up, but he's going to be taken down for a loss. He may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, but again, that's one of those things that plague a young team like the Calgary Colts.
Yeah, and we've seen throughout the course of the first and now into the second quarter, they've put the ball on the ground a few times. And again, another little mistake that, again, opportunity is there. They've got to learn to take advantage of those opportunities. And again, as a young team, you've got to, the players have to live through some of that. It's not like you just can't tell them, okay, we got to learn. They all know. They've all heard it in high school. They've all heard it in minor football, wherever they were growing up. They've got to go out and they've got to experience that. And that right there is a lesson. It's a tough lesson because, again, they're really in a position to get 7 points. But they've got to learn that lesson if they want to get better.
All right, here's the field goal attempt from the 25-yard line. Halverson with the attempt, and it is good, and the Calgary Colts are on the scoreboard. It is now a 9-3 football game with 11:01 to go in the first half, and that's only the 11th point of the season for the Calgary Colts.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, it's about just moving slowly, moving forward, steps forward. Again, you're going to talk about not making mistakes, not fumbling the ball. And again, the coach is going to be on the sideline. Hey, we can't make those mistakes at that time. 2nd and 7, we're close to a touchdown. We've got to be able to execute. And those are the little things that, but any player playing football at this level, you want to kind of climb your way out of the basement. Those are the things you got to take care of. And again, if you look at through the course of this game, Calgary's turned the ball over. They've put the ball on the ground. Do that, you're hurting yourself. Take those turnovers away by Calgary, I think the score is a little different. I think they've got more points already. So if they can clean up the turnovers, I think they can gain some momentum back. And again, right now their defense is going to have to stop because it's a prime opportunity for the Wildcats to get some more points on the board.
All right, here's the kickoff after touchdown, and it's a good one. All the way back to about the 10-yard line. It's taken there by Withrow. He's up to the 20, still going, and is finally stopped as he is pushed back to about the 15-yard line. So Jake Withrow not getting too much on that one. And it'll be a first down for the Wildcats deep in their own zone.
And interesting enough, the kick did not have a lot of hang time, and so he caught that ball. Unfortunately, he didn't catch it clean. He still had space, but Calgary did a good job of staying in their lanes. And we talk about lanes on kickoff. We're talking about when you spread 12 guys across the field, you need to stay kind of in your area, because if you get in behind someone, it leaves a 8 to 10-yard gap where that can be exposed by a good returner.
First down, Wildcats. Justin Swedish at quarterback. There's the handoff. And up ahead for a gain of close to 5 or 6 yards on the play, and a good job in there by the running back, number 29 for the Edmonton Wildcats, Braden Chillibeck, who is back into the game.
Well, what you're seeing on a play like that is you're seeing like a good hard run up the middle. The defensive linemen were there, but they're getting stood up by the offensive line of the Wildcats, and the momentum is going. And so instead of a 1 to 2, maybe 3-yard gain, they get 5 out of that, which puts them in great position for 2nd and 5.
Okay, Chillibeck is back on the bench now, 2-man set, and there's the play action, the fake, and going ahead is Justin Swedish. He bounced off at least 2 tacklers down there, Rob, and still kept going.
Well, you could see he made the fake to the fullback. We had action coming to the side, and he followed the fullback. And we're going to see what this penalty is. I think it's going to end up being on Calgary. We'll keep an eye on the ref here to get the official call.
Zach Prankard was actually the man he did the fake on, and a great job of running. Maybe that knee is better than we think it is. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, he bounced off a couple of tacklers before he was finally taken down.
Well, and again, some of that comfort may be settling in, right? Maybe some of the painkillers are settling in as well. He's able to run on it. He's able to push off. We saw him throw that near touchdown pass earlier with a lot of speed on the ball.
There's a handoff again, and this time it is Chillibeck back into the football game. Number 29, and Braden Chillibeck moves ahead for a gain of, let's see where they mark it down. It's about 8 yards on the play, and that seems to be where they're at with their running game. 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards, more or less, give a yard or two.
Well, and you could see on that play, he just tucked himself right in behind the O-lineman because they are doing their job. The O-linemen are doing a great job of moving the line of scrimmage forward, and that's allowing the success of this run game here.
There's a little bit of a mix-up on that read option, and I think it may have been intended as a pitch out to the far side to Braden Chillibeck, but a little bit of a mix-up with Adebayo in the backfield.
Well, you kind of have three options on a play like that. His first option is to give it to the fullback.
Yeah,
and then the second option is for him to take off and run. Calgary did a good job of getting two guys through. One guy read the fake, knew it was still in Swedish's hand. The outside guy went to the running back, so Swedish had no choice. And then the defensive linemen and linebackers got to him in a hurry, forcing this punt.
Now here's Camerata. Punt bounces down at about the 35-yard line and out of bounds at around the 32, so 33-yard line, and it'll be first down for the Calgary Colts with 8:39 to go in the first half.
Yeah, in Calgary, we talked about it, trying to get the momentum back. They did a good job. Their defense did a good job defending the offense and slowing them down, forcing the ball back to Calgary. And again, Calgary's offense is gaining little momentum. They drove the field. They didn't get the touchdown. They made a mistake. But again, without mistakes, that drive's continuing. And so they're going to start this drive knowing, hey, we can beat this defense. Let's get things going here. Let's make some plays.
Three receivers to the outside, and here's the handoff to Hillier. Brad Hillier heads to that first down marker, and I think he made it.
He's close. I think he's going to be about 2-3 yards. He looks like he stepped out of bounds about 3 yards short. But again, great first down production from the Calgary offense in the run game.
They have a couple of youngsters out there handling the first down markers, and the gal, instead of dropping it and running backwards, held onto it and moved forward.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous position
for disaster. I'll tell you, you'll learn to drop the sticks and move quickly. One play like that, and look out.
Bellway, the handoff again to Hillier. This time he tries the middle and is stopped, but not before he picks up the first down.
Yeah, I think you got a good spot on that. And interesting enough, the sticks crew, we often train our sticks crews, make sure you're dropping it and getting out of the way whenever the play is coming forward, because I've actually seen people on the sideline not paying attention. They get 2-3 bodies coming into them. I've seen legs broken, knees totally torn out. And the challenge they're having right now is right behind her is the player bench. And so there's really nowhere for her to retreat to other than into the players.
Four receivers over on the far side, back in the pocket. Bellway now being chased out of the pocket, gets one away. It is complete at the 45-yard line, and taken down just over the center field stripe is David Bowers.
Well,
Good job by Bellway.
He did a great job of buying himself time. The free guy came running, and then again on the run, kind of running backwards, had the arm strength to get it to him on target. So often at this level in high school, you see quarterbacks try to make that throw when they're running away. A quick DB cuts in front of that, it's going the other way. But great job, perfect ball placement, and they've got themselves another first down.
Over on this side, Dylan Pye is there as the wide receiver. Back in the pocket now, looking downfield. It is incomplete, and over the head of the intended receiver out there, number 87 for Calgary. 84 rather, Logan Young.
Well, and great job of Bellway. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get the ball down to number 87. And again, good shot, good read. But again, you could see his feet a little jittery. He had two guys kind of in his face. They weren't fully being aggressive. They were trying to get their hands up, but he did a good job of getting the ball out just a little bit too high.
All right, it'll be 2nd and 10. Ball on the 54-yard line. Right into the middle. Pass complete. and finding that soft spot in the defense was number 82, Brandon McIsaac.
So they're willing to let him sling the ball, and the last one went to number 87. It looks like Max Hamilton, and then this one back to another slot back, Brandon McIsaac. Again, they're moving the ball. They obviously have found a little bit of a rhythm from the last drive to this drive. Good job of the coaching staff. Good play calling to allow their quarterback to make plays. Now he's hitting the receivers that he was missing in the first quarter.
Motion goes to the right, and again back in the pocket. Bellway fires, and it is just a mile over everybody's head. And, I just get the feeling that the coaching staff has told Cole Bellway, hey, go out there and have some fun. Fire the ball and go with it.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do. You can't put the pressure of the world on these guys as they're learning and they're trying to make this upswing in the program. And so, again, you want him to, he's going to make mistakes. We know that. But, again, if he can find the success, build some confidence, you're going to see that grow. And, obviously, tonight, he's seeing that growth already in his quarterback. And, again, they're moving the ball.
3 receivers this side, straight back. Bellway again looks into the middle. He's got a man open. It is incomplete, intended for Max Hamilton, and he just could not pull it down. He was gone for the 6.
He was wide open, and again, a ball you have got to catch. Your quarterback is making plays. Your offense is moving the ball. We talked about mistakes. That is a mistake. You just can't afford to be dropping on that. And again, it's about keeping your eyes on the ball, looking it all the way in. Again, when you get in behind coverage as a receiver, you get excited. You're like, the end zone's there. And again, you're thinking too far ahead. He dropped that one, but perfect ball thrown. And interestingly enough, we've seen them get over the top a few times now, and they're going to continue to attack them. There was no free safety on that play. They were relying on their cover guys. And again, they're getting their slot backs downfield. It's something that the defense of the Wildcats are going to have to talk about. They can't afford to do that because the next one may not be dropped.
All right, this timeout taken by the Wildcats, and Coach Darcy Park out there probably explaining exactly what you just said about the DBs coming up on the play a little bit more than what they have been. They've been, like Jaden Dahlke gave away a couple of them just earlier.
Yeah, and you've got to do that.
That free
again,
safety has got to be.
With 5 minutes left in the game, you don't want to make any more mistakes. And again, you've got to get the ball back, not give up any points, and see if they can drive the field.
Guys, coming up, Kevin from the sideline. Yeah, we've still got another half to go here, guys. And, of course, coming up at the half, we'll have Brad Cartel, the Vice President of the Wildcats, and we'll be discussing a few things, including this football game. And there's a little bit of nervousness on this Wildcat sideline, guys. They, obviously they had a great deal of success against the Colts 3 weeks ago, but it'll be interesting. We'll also be chatting with Darcy Park, and we'll get his thoughts on this first half, guys.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Ball on the 41-yard line, or make that 39-yard line. We have 3 receivers over to this side. Motion goes to the right, back in the pocket, and intended out there for Bowers, and he couldn't haul it down, so it'll be
turnover on downs. That was 3rd and 10. Interesting decision by the coaching staff. Again, in that type of position, why would you not punt? Again, with 5:13 in the half, why are you trying to give a little bit of momentum back to the Cats? If you can go into the half only down 6, I think as a coach that's a victory because you are within striking distance. Now you've given them the ball back with much better field position without the punt, and now they have an opportunity to put some more points on the board.
Swedish at quarterback. Play action. The pass is complete at the 45-yard line. Taken there by number 81, Nathan Levine. And that was after the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Well, not how you draw it up, but again, when you have athletes that are focused, you know what? He was in the right spot. He kept his focus, caught the ball, put them in a great second down position.
Another one of those first-year guys out of Hunting Hills, Nathan Levine. And what an introduction to the PFC for him.
Well, they don't even know what they're getting themselves into. So he's like, hey, the ball's in my area. I better catch it.
There you go. There it is. Adebayo with the handoff. He gets around one man, plows through another, and is finally tackled just over the center field stripe. And he'll have more than enough for the first down.
Well, if I was the defensive coach of the Calgary Colts right now, I would be emphasizing tackling. Mm-hmm. Once again, they had a guy near him in the backfield. He goes to get his hands on him. He can't make the tackle, and a great job by the running back to get his hand out. Again, call that a stiff arm. You're kind of pushing the guy away so he can't wrap his arms around you. And
play action pass again, and the pass is knocked down just as he got it got rid of it. And a good job coming in there from his defensive end position was number 99, Devin Southwell.
Yeah, he did a good job coming off that far edge from our camera view here. Again, untouched, getting in there quickly, coming up and shortening the edge. When we talk about shortening the edge, for a defensive lineman, if you can get the tackle to get his hands off you early, that gives you a shorter pass to the quarterback, and you saw the result right there.
2nd and 10. Swedish fumbles the football, and it will be recovered by the Wildcats. So we talked about the momentum, but the confidence just seems to be growing and growing and growing with this Colts team.
It does, and they know they're in this game. They are far from out of it now. And again, you know, they give up. They go on 3rd down. They give up the ball, and they're actually right now further behind where they gave up the ball. So they gain a 1st down, but then they take a bad sack or a loss and a fumble. And again, once again, the ball's on the ground, and Calgary's going to get it back in pretty decent field position there because they're kicking into the wind here.
Camerata angles this one toward the sidelines. It'll come down and out just over the center field stripe. They'll mark it at about the 52-yard line. So, as you say, good field position for the Calgary Colts with only 3:11 to go in this first half.
Yeah, and again, they've got lots of time to move the ball. They have been moving the ball. You know what? If I'm Darcy Park, I'm thinking I'm concerned right now. I don't. And again, do they need to make a change? Is Swedish the solution? Does he need to go get something different? I think what he needs is a spark on his offense. He just needs something to spark things, get some momentum going. But right now, it's Calgary's opportunity to really make an impact on this game before the half.
There's the snap, and the handoff is to Hillier, and Hillier will pick up about maybe 4 or 5 yards on the play. Brad Hillier.
So Calgary still being content to have a balanced approach, a little bit of run, a little bit of pass. We'll see if they can maintain the drive, and see if they can continue to do that, because I know that defense is going to be tightening it up, saying, hey, try to throw the balls. Let's see if you can get in behind us one more time. We're going to try to pick it off.
If you just joined us, 9-3 in favor of the Edmonton Wildcats over the Calgary Colts with 2:50 to go in the first half. Calgary sends 3 receivers over to the far side of the field, straight back and looking to this side. The pass, it is complete at about the 47-yard line to number 17, Dallas Burke.
You know, interesting, same play we've seen earlier as they convert. They're running curl routes. And again, usually what you tell the guys, you need to get a yard past the 1st down. So a lot of times on 1st down, you'll run that at 10 to 11 yards. Again, that's kind of a general depth. Or you run it at 5 yards. There's kind of 2 different depths. And again, if it's at 5 yards, the ball's coming out quicker. Quarterback catches and throws. If it's at 10, usually it's what we call 5-step drop, and he's got a little bit more time to get the ball out.
Burke is flanked out to this side. There's the handoff right up the middle. And a short gain of just a couple yards for Brad Hillier once again. Hillier, one of those quick, short little guys.
Yeah, hard to find behind his offensive line, but his offensive line just isn't moving guys. They're not creating enough space on that play. I mean, they have in the past, and again, with a little scat back who can be quick, who can change direction quickly, all you got to do is give him a seam. That play, they weren't able to do it, and the defensive end or the defensive lineman did a good job of clogging up the holes, and linebackers filled really well.
So no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Into the middle. Once again, the pass is complete at the 35-yard line to number 82, Brandon McIsaac. And it's going to be about 5 yards short of the first. Oh, no, they call it a 1st down. So it will be enough for the 1st down to the 35-yard line.
You know, a couple of things on that play I got to point out. One, continue to see great poise in their quarterback. He's doing a great job of throwing it. The other thing I'd love to see, receivers for Calgary are using their hands to catch the ball. You've seen them be very aggressive with their hands on the ball. They're doing a great job on this cold night using their hands, and it's getting them completions.
Hillier, the handoff, and a couple yards on the play.
Again, same formula. Run on 1st down, pass on 2nd down. It seems to be working, and now they've got to get this drive going.
So it'll be 2nd and about 8. Ball on the 33-yard line with 1:25 to go. As the clock continues to tick down here to the end of the first half of football. 9-3 in favor of the Wildcats over the Colts. Here's the pass. It is complete to a wide-open Dylan Pye. And Pye is hammered down at about the 15-yard line, but he'll pick up 15, and it'll be enough for the 1st down.
And once again, we're seeing the development of a young team right in front of our eyes. They're able to get the ball downfield. The receivers are not. They're crowded. There's a lot of guys around them, but they are doing a great job of catching the ball. We did see the drop earlier, which likely would have resulted in a touchdown, but they have responded well. They're coming back. They're catching the ball clean, using their hands like you teach receivers to do.
Hillier is a lone setback. There's the pitch out to the far side. And doing a good job of coming up from his cornerback position was number 27, Jordan Wilson, another first-year player out of Salisbury.
So once again, it seems like the secondary are coming up to support the run, but they're giving up the pass. And so now they've got to do the job on the other side. And, okay, they've stopped them on first down. Now let's go make a play in the secondary.
All right. 3-4 receivers over on this side. The motion goes to the right and straight back in the pocket. Looking into the end zone. It is incomplete as it finally falls to the ground. I think the Calgary receiver was looking for the rebound on that one. Couldn't quite pull it down.
Yeah, Dylan Pye just waiting for the ball to come down. Couldn't quite get his hand stretched out far enough. But again, good job of staying focused. Unfortunately, couldn't complete it there. The secondary came up, made the play they need to keep them out of the end zone for the touchdown. Again, a small victory given the circumstances, but the Wildcats are not going to be happy going into the half.
No. A victory for the defense. They forced the field goal attempt, which will come from about the 25-yard line or so. Break the huddle, and out there to attempt the field goal is Jack Halverson. He is a graduate of Lethbridge Collegiate and is in his second year with the Colts. There's the kick, and it is going to go wide. Taken in the end zone. Jake Withrow gets it out over the goal line. He's up to the 20, still going to the 25, has some room and is taken down, almost taken down from behind, and finally tripped up at about the 45-yard line. That had to be a run back of about 55, 56 yards or so on the play.
Yeah, he was pretty deep in the end zone. Again, we've got a flag on the far side of the field, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. And it looks like it's going to be a legal substitution against Calgary, so I'm sure Edmonton's happy with 8 seconds left to get the ball at least out of their end zone, not give up any points. Now, we talked about the little victory of getting the stop. That's a big victory, not giving up any points.
So it'll be interesting to hear what Darcy Park has to say about that first half and the play of, in particular, of Justin Swedish, and whether he is actually the 100% that he hoped he would be.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I don't think Darcy's going to be super excited going into the half. He's going to have some words for his entire team, and they got to stop making mistakes, and they got to start playing better football overall. And
Kev, you got to ask him about Zach Prankard too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's had a tremendous first half, but definitely, like I say, some anxiety down here, guys.
This is David Adebayo with the football all the way down to the 50-yard line. And he's still got 3 seconds to go on the clock.
And there's a flag in the backfield. It looks going to be holding against Edmonton, and that's really unfortunate because, again, they kind of got in position where they could take a shot at the end zone. Now they're going to move it back, likely just going to take a knee to get out of this half. Unfortunately for the Wildcats, they're only up 6. But, again, Calgary's got to be happy that they're in the game. Again, twice they've been in the red zone. They've got to convert when they're in the red zone if they want to get the first win of the season. And, again, Wildcats are going to have to play better. This is not how Darcy envisioned this game going.
Coming on late is Richard McGuire, second-year player out of Ross Shep, into the Wildcats lineup. And they will hand it off to Adebayo, and he will be stopped after about 2 yards, and that will be the end of the first half of football. And as you say, Coach, it is not exactly what Darcy Park had envisioned. 9-3 in favor of the Wildcats over the Calgary Colts. They are leading, there's no question about that, and that's a good thing, but boy, I'll tell you what, a lot of things could have gone better for his team.
Yeah, just at the end there, I saw Darcy having a chat with some of his old linemen on that last holding call. He is not going to be happy, and we're going to have a chance to hear from Darcy here for a couple minutes, and we'll see what he has to say. I don't think it's going to be a surprise.
All right, Kevin is set to talk with Darcy Park, and take it away, Kevin.
I am down on the sideline with head coach Darcy Park. Darcy, mistakes are really hurting this football team right now.
Yeah. I mean, we got a fumble to start the game, then we fumble back and have opportunities to go. We're taking holding penalties again that are killing our drives. Defense has given up some plays, and we got to clean some stuff up for sure.
Now, in terms of how do you generate a spark with this offense? Rob Harrod mentioned just late here in the quarter that somehow you got to get the offense going. Is it involving Pranker more? How do you I guess what's the solution here?
I think we can go back to a little bit of the basics. I think we saw Lucas Howe going deep and then again continue the run, like David and Chili are doing a good job and then getting the fullback out in the flats. And again, letting him kind of generate some excitement. But yeah, I think again we're trying to do the misdirection stuff, and that's obviously not working right now. So I think the biggest thing is let's just go back and be straight ahead and be a little bit physical.
Still concerns with Justin's knee right now?
He pulled one around for 10 yards, but yeah, I think we see a little bit of the rust by limited reps in practice, and we got to make sure we're running stuff that he's comfortable with.
And that's a young, hungry team across the field. And I guess what's the message in the room at halftime?
No, we talked about it all week. They've got in that locker room, they've got a lot of kids with a lot of pedigree of winning, whether it's provincial championships or winning at other levels. They're not coming in here to roll over. It's our job to take their will away, and we didn't do that in the first half. We have to come back. We're going to get the ball to start, and we have to come back and set the tone.
Good luck the rest of the way. That is head coach Darcy Park, and let's send things back upstairs to Dave and Rob as we take a look at the first half statistics and a few of the facts from this football game. Of course, the Edmonton Wildcats lead 9-3, but it's a bit of a precarious lead. They're only up by 6, and we'll have the second half in just a few moments, and I'll have a special guest, Brad Cartel. But let's send things back upstairs to Dave and Rob. Guys?
Well, interesting looking at the stats, and I'll give you a little bit of a rundown as we're working with one camera tonight. It's a little bit different than usual, but again, interestingly enough, if you're looking at the offensive stats, which of course I always like to look at first, for the home team, the Cats are net yards of 136, 54 through the air, and 82 on the ground. So if you just told me 82 yards on the ground, that's pretty good production from a run game. 54, totally unacceptable for any team, even if you're struggling. And they've got to find a way to get the ball in the air. And I don't know if that's going to be a change of quarterback, but I think that could help. Because, again, even in the run game, you can have another quarterback come in and they can execute the run play.
Well, we saw at the beginning of the first quarter how much Calgary intended on passing the football. And the stats show, 130 yards passing in that first half. Pretty good.
Yeah, and great production again, and that's including some drops that they had throughout in the first quarter that really kept them off the scoreboard. But you could see them move the ball again. They don't have the points to show for it. So again, another learning process, another step for this young team to say, hey, we got to finish our drives. We can't end up in field goals or missed field goals.
Darcy Park had mentioned, and he just mentioned it again, penalties. 31 yards in penalties for the Wildcats to only 18 for Calgary. So you got to know right then and there that he's not happy about that.
No, he wasn't happy. I thought he may be a little bit more animated at halftime in his conversation with Kevin, but he kind of kept his composure. He was pretty level-headed, but when he gets in the locker room, he's not going to be happy with the production that his team is doing. And again, I don't think it's an effort thing. I think the guys are working hard. They're just making mistakes that they just can't afford to make if they want to put this team away. And you don't want to let a team hang around that's kind of scratching and clawing for their first win, and that's the position Calgary's in. And they're in the half say, hey, we finished drives, and they're up in this game.
And Tim Kersey in his dressing room is probably telling his players, look, we're close. We've got a chance to win our first game of the season. Here's what we've got to do.
It's kind of the same message for both teams. Let's eliminate turnovers. We know how to play football. We've done it before. The Cats are definitely playing below the level they're expected to, and we've seen in the last number of weeks. And Calgary is playing up, and that's what you want to see in a young team in Calgary that's trying to work their way out of the basement. But that's not what the Cats want to see in this weekend.
Well, this coaching staff of the Calgary Colts, Tim Kersey was parachuted in with about, I think, 3 games left in the season last year. They had a shot at the playoffs and unfortunately didn't quite get there the way they wanted to. But this year, he's brought in a bunch of new coaches, Will Johnson being one of them. They brought him in as the defensive line coach, and he's done a great job. I had a chance to talk with him beforehand. And he says, yeah, youth. That's all it is with this football team. But there's the future. And we've talked about it, the amount of strength there is down south as far as the high school program is concerned. In fact, I looked at the Football Alberta All-Star team. Out of the 14 players that were named, I think there was something like 12 of them from the south.
Yeah, the South has been really strong. I've actually been on the losing side of a couple of the All-Star games of the graduating players, and so many of those graduating players come to these junior programs, whether it's the Huskies, the Wildcats, or the Colts in Alberta. And again, Alberta is a great province to learn how to play football. There's a lot of talent coming out of Alberta, and again, Calgary's picking up a lot of those. So again, if they're getting the youth in, you can't tell now if they've got the right guys in, but in 2 years, we'll know.
All right, let's go downstairs, and I believe Kevin has a special guest. Kevin?
I sure do, Dave. I am joined by Brad Cartel, the Vice President of the Edmonton Wildcats. First, thank you for joining us here on the ICU Video Procast halftime, Brad. And like you say, the organization's a little nervous here at the half. You know, you're only up by 6, and we were talking about how, you know, the organization needs this win tonight.
Yeah, we do. Against a team like Calgary, you're hoping that you'd be able to shut the door on them a little bit quicker and not give them that hope at the beginning of the game. But you know what? We're in a game, and now we have to go out there and finish it in the second half.
Now, tell us about this season, 2018. You know, this was sort of the turnaround season. I mean, you had the disappointing loss last week, but things are changing. You know, there's a better culture. There seems to be you know, more camaraderie around the team. Things are definitely trending upward for this organization.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Darcy's doing a good job. We've got some young kids in. They've got some leaders like Jaden Dalkey on the team, and they're all taking a step forward. And so, yeah, we think we're going in the right direction. And a game like today, you know, is a game that you have to win. You know, to see that trend continuing going upwards, and we need to win today to kind of keep our season alive here.
Now, tell us about you've got some exciting events coming up in the coming weeks. Tell us a little bit about some of those.
Yeah, so it's an exciting season in general. It's our 70th year, and so that's a long time to be around. So we're celebrating that. Our banquet dinner this year is on October 9th. So that's coming up quickly. We're also celebrating another anniversary. It's Darcy Park's 20th year with the organization coaching. So that's exciting. And then we also, you know, around all that, we have, you know, we're decided to move forward on our clubhouse expansion. And so we're proceeding with that, and that's going to hopefully generate some more interest in the club, help with recruiting, and also help with the team, giving them some of the programs necessary in our clubhouse to continue to get better. Also some amenity spaces. Lots of our kids are athletes or students, and so hopefully give them some space to, you know, come to the clubhouse, work out, study, and it can be really a one-stop shop and clubhouse environment for them.
Well, it's definitely an exciting season, and we want to congratulate the Wildcats, the entire organization, on your 70th anniversary. It's always a pleasure to have the members of the organization, and I'm very pleased to have been joined by Brad Cartel, the Vice President of the Edmonton Wildcats, who lead only by 6 points, but we've got an exciting second half coming up here on the ICU Video Procast. The score at the half, the Edmonton Wildcats 9, the Calgary Colts 3. Let's send things back upstairs to Dave and Rob. Guys?
Thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate that, and thank you, Brad. And Rob, we talked about the stats earlier in this half, but clearly they do not indicate the score. The Calgary Colts are up in almost every offensive stat that you need to talk about.
Yeah, and again, they're also turning the ball over. And again, that's kind of the difference in the game. And I'll just give you a little bit of rundown from a rushing standpoint. Interesting enough, we talked about the health of Justin Swedish. He's had 3 carries for 18 yards, which, again, for a quarterback isn't too bad. So he's making well on the time. He's got the – and then David Adebayo, 5 for 36 yards as a leading rusher for the Wildcats. And if we look on the other side, Brad Hillier is 9 for 30 yards. Again, not great production out of your running back, but he's either getting like 10 to 15 or he's getting like 1 or 2 on each of his carries. So it's kind of balancing out there. And again, if you go to passing, you got Justin Swedish. He's only 4 for 9 for 54 yards with an interception. Again, not great numbers from a quarterback. You got to wonder what is going on there. You know, why are they not making a change? I think I would make a change. I think they need a spark. I think they've got to do something because they don't want to be in a position where it's a close game at the end.
No.
And then, just on the other side, we got Cole Belway. He's 9 for 19, obviously willing to throw the ball a lot more, 130 yards, no interceptions. So, again, good production, but he's not finishing drives, or the offense isn't helping him finish drives. We've seen a couple drop balls, which could have gone for touchdowns.
You know, Calgary, of course, coming into this game at 0-4, and I was thinking back to the Cleveland Browns on Thursday night. 0-26.
Boy, are there parallels, guys. I was going to say the same thing, Dave. I'll tell you, and they've got their own Baker Mayfield across the field too. I'll tell you, we could be in for a historic one tonight. You just never know.
You never know about this league, and anything can happen at any given time. And coming into this, the Wildcats 1-3. If you just joined us, the Calgary Colts 0-4. And I think we're going to go downstairs, and here's Kevin with Tim Kearson.
Tim, you're playing your best game, your best football game of the season. You're only down by 6. Just how proud are you of this young football team right now?
Oh, it's not really saying it. I guess I'm proud of the fact that the score is where it's at. But at the same token, I'm proud of our guys since the start of the football season, and now their work is finally starting to show off for them.
And I mean, talk about that's a competitive team. And Cole Belway is standing in the pocket, a lot of poise. You also got to be pleased with your quarterback play too.
Well, I'm pleased the O-line has given our opportunity to stand in there and throw the football. Cole's accomplished quarterback, and right now our O-line is doing a good job of protecting him, so we need to protect him for another 30 minutes.
And to close this thing out in the second half and get your first win of the year, what do you have to do?
We have to keep playing the same type of football we're playing now and put the ball in the end zone.
Good luck the rest of the way, Coach. Thanks for stopping in. That is head coach Tim Kearson. I'll tell you, he's got a very competitive football team, and only down by 6. So, guys, we could be in for a real thriller here in the second half of our ICU video broadcast. Guys, it's going to be a good one. Wildcats Colts. Wildcats up by 6, 9-3. Dave, Rob, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Just talking with Tim, and quite the pedigree. Played in the NFL.
Oh, man.
Played, I think it was 3 games with the Indianapolis Colts. He has coached the West Shore Rebels of the BC Football Conference, and he's also been an assistant coach with the Calgary Colts.
Played in the CFL as well. Played in Saskatchewan, coached in Saskatchewan. He has seen it. Much like our Rob Harrod, he has seen football at all levels, and a very passionate guy. And as we talked off the top, Dave, this Calgary Colts franchise is a very proud franchise, and Calgary has a lot to be proud about in terms of their football community. So some of these organizations in the PFC, you hit a valley, and it affects all organizations sometimes, but this Colts team will rebound, and it will not take long, simply because of the wealth of talent in the Calgary region. And as Rob mentioned earlier on in the football game, you've seen that firsthand.
No question about that, Kevin. And, you take a look at this Calgary Colts team, and a proud team they are. Back in the early 90s, they were winning championships left and right, and same with this Edmonton Wildcats team. The ebbs and flows of being in junior football are always there for you.
Well, and it's interesting to watch the ebbs and flows of the junior programs based on how the university programs are doing in town. Like sometimes you'll see the Dinos, they kind of get all the picks of the cream of the crop coming out of the southern high schools, and then you see them over the time. They start to build a program, and then you see maybe the Colts picking up a few more and finding different ways to get talent in, and then the Colts succeed. And it's the same thing here in Edmonton. You've got the University of Alberta obviously vying for the best players that are going to university, and then you've got both the Colts and the Wildcats and the Huskies kind of battling over all the other players. And so again, at some point you kind of spread those players thin, and we've talked about that over the years really on these procasts, that hey, you got to bring in the right guys, and that's really what it's about. Once you get the right guys in, they've got the right guys at the helm. And it's interesting hearing Tim talk at the half, and now I'd have to check the record books, but I think Tim may have coached in Saskatchewan when I was there after I left the Eskimos.
Oh,
I'm trying to think now back to it's been a few years and I've been gone for a long time, but I think he may have been one of the coaches in Saskatchewan when I was there for a brief stint at the end of my playing career.
Wow. It's funny how things come around like that.
It really is, yeah. And again, when you talk about the experience of a guy like that, and when you can get when you work hard and you get to that level of as a player, you will never lose that competitive nature. I mean, and you just want to compete all the time, and he is going to do everything he can to instill that in his players to compete. It doesn't matter if you're up or down or what the record is. You know what? Each football game is a new opportunity, and they're going to go out there, they're going to compete, and they're going to try to steal one here on the road.
Well, his experience and his knowledge certainly will hold him in good stead down in Calgary, and this team may have a future ahead of it in the next couple of years.
And when you bring in a new coach like Tim, and again, you're bringing him in to establish the program, okay? Maybe he needs a little bit of a reset. And so, they've probably had the conversations. Here's the timeline. Here's what we're doing. Let's not think about sacrificing the future for now. Let's just start building for that future.
And the whistle blows, and we are set to get this second half underway. 9-3. The Edmonton Wildcats leading the Calgary Colts. It's picked up by Jake Withrow at about the 15-yard line. He has some room to the outside and runs out of bounds at just shy of the 45-yard line, but there is a flag down on the 35-yard line, and there was a bit of a mix-up with a couple of players down there. We'll see what it goes.
Well, Jaden Dahlke was in a pile with 2 Calgary Colts, so I'm not sure which way this is going. It looks like it's going to be holding. Looks like on, unfortunately, Jaden Dahlke, again, the veteran, pulling another big play, which, again, negates the return but also moves them back. So, again, Coach Darcy Park is not going to be happy with his veteran DB making decisions like that.
All right, they move the ball back to the 25-yard line, and from there, the Edmonton Wildcats will take over the football. Justin Swedish is still in there, and David Adebayo is the lone setback. There's the play action. Pass complete to Prankard. He is up to the 45, and finally taken down at about the 47-yard line. I was trying to find the word, and I think it was rumble down to the 45.
There you go.
Is that guy he is the most fun player to watch in the PFC. I'll tell you, when he gets out in open space, the defensive back's eyes get the size of saucers. They do not want to take that guy on. Fun to watch, guys. Really fun to watch.
Thanks, Kevin. There's the handoff this time to Adebayo. He finds some room on the outside, still going over the center field stripe, and is taken down after a gain of close to 10 yards. They'll mark it at about the 54-yard line. I think he needed to get to the 53.
Plankard's heavily involved in this offense, obviously in the passing and the running game, but he's also doing a lot of blocking, and you could see he kind of took out the edge block there. But I think at three-quarter time, I may be going to buy myself a new jersey, number 47, get myself a Plankard jersey and sport that for the rest of the season.
Movement along the line of scrimmage. All kinds of flags. I think the Calgary... one of the Calgary linemen moved first, and
that knee, guys, Justin Swedish is literally playing this game on one leg now, guys.
Yeah, and again, that's going to impact his ability to run the read option, which is an important part of the package here for the Wildcats. So we'll see if he can shake that hit off. Unfortunately, he was the only one ready to continue that play. Again, when a defense jumps, it's a free play, so he was ready for his play action and was going to look up, but everybody else stood still, and so something.
So that moves the ball up into Calgary territory.
So a play like that, again, as a receiver, as a running back, keep going. It's a free play. You can take a shot at the end zone. So that's something that, again, when they come to film work, you can talk about that.
Yeah, he is flexing that knee quite a bit. There's the handoff to Adebayo to the 40 and taken down just over the 40-yard line at about the 38 or 39. And David Adebayo continues to rumble through that defensive line.
Again, you can see as he walks back to the huddle, he's got thick thighs. He's got a top torso that is round and is like a barrel. And again, he moves so well for a bigger back, and that's great to see him running hard. And again, they just seem to be feeding him the ball.
All right, they mark it straight right down at the 40-yard line, and they're going to bring the flags out. And no, they changed their mind, and they're not going to bring the flags out. Something going on with the crew down there. The
Sticks crew may have
they didn't
moved prematurely, and they
right.
moved their little marker. They have a marker down, and we'll give you a little info on that. So when they set the sticks, usually the guy who's holding the first down marker will move a little clip along to match it up with the yard marker. So it would be, in this case, it would likely be the 45-yard line. You'd have a little clip there, and so when you come out to measure, that clip is what you use to put on the white line, and that gives you extension. And again, if it crosses two lines, which in this case it's only crossing the 40 and the 45, you put it on the one further back. So again, it could be the 50, but again, the first down was a little bit past the 50, so now you go to the 40. And so as you see the stick screw come over, make the long jaunt across the field, 60 some odd yards to get there, and then he hands the little clip there, so you can see the officials putting the clip down. And again, how they put the clip on the sideline is exactly where you mark it off. And it looks like they're going to have it by about an inch.
The nose of the football.
There we go. Well, that's great for the Sticks crew because they get a nice little jog. They get to loosen their legs up on the run across the field. And great for the Wildcats as they got a new set of downs.
And that's exactly what Justin Swedish was doing during that timeout for the measurement, because, you take that 15-minute intermission, guys, and that knee, you rest and it tightens up. But Justin Swedish doing a lot of flexing as that knee, as Dave pointed out, guys.
Thank you, Kevin. There's the snap out of the shotgun. Swedish throws it up for grabs. It is incomplete. In and out of the hands of number 23, Kiefer Moak, the second-year man out of Archbishop O'Leary. And, boy, I'll tell you what, that ball was up for grabs for a long time.
That was up in the air for a long time, and didn't look like it came out clean or he was getting a shot on that, but he actually had an opportunity. And, again, you want to look at the details of a receiver. You got to go up and get that ball, and that was a dangerous ball because he was waiting a long time, and there was a lot of guys converging on him.
All right, motion goes left. Here's Swedish. Pumps once. Fires. Has a man open once again. Kiefer Moak with the completion. Just shy of the 5-yard line.
Great corner route and a great throw, but even watching Swedish in his motion, it looks like he's still not pushing off. He's a very strong quarterback, and I think he's using a little bit more of a Brett Favre-style quarterbacking style tonight because he doesn't have the strength in his legs, but he really muscled that ball out there, and he got it there, and it was a great throw. Great conversion. Now we'll see if they can get it into the end zone here.
Adebayo comes off. Dustin Pollock goes on, and out of the shotgun again. Into the corner and over the head of Dustin Pollock, and it'll go incomplete.
Well, and again, I keep my eyes on Swedish as he drops back, and you can see he's not pushing off that back leg. When you talk about quarterback play, when you want to transfer your weight from your back foot to your front foot, and you want to turn that body, you want to bring what we call our belt buckle. You want to get that belt buckle around, and he's not doing that. He's not pushing off that back leg to bring it around, and on a short play like that, the ball sails on him a little bit.
Again, Swedish. He is being hurried and taken down for the sack. The tackle by Zach Jantz coming up from his DB position, and that will force a field goal.
Yeah, again, great job by the Calgary defense, not letting them in the end zone after giving up a really big play. But again, they're getting that pass rush. And so now we got to look at, okay, is that O-line and D-line, where is that battle going? I think in the first you could see the Wildcats offense was really controlling their line of scrimmage. Now they're not controlling it quite so much. So we'll see if that continues to change or if the Wildcats can get back on track and really win the battle in the trenches.
27-yard field goal attempt for Rosario Camerata. The ball is out, it's up, and it is through the uprights. Easily for Camerata, and with 11:31 to go in the third quarter, it's a 12-3 football game in favor of the Wildcats. So a victory for the Wildcats, they get some points on the board, and a victory for the defense of the Calgary Colts for stopping them.
Yeah, and they're going to be happy to have points on the board. And again, it's a two-score game, and you got early in the third quarter, you don't think you're going to be talking about that, but the points are hard to come by. So if you can get the 3 points, obviously Calgary's missed out on a few. Again, let's see if they can get that momentum back. Their defense seems to be kind of struggling at times, and then they come up big, and now their offense, again, they're moving the ball, but they're not getting it in the end zone. So let's see what Calgary has for the Wildcats defense to see if they can move the ball again, get themselves in a scoring position.
After almost every series of plays, I've noticed that the offensive coaches have been taking the offensive players into the dugout down here to our right and having a little chat with them, just talking whatever. Well,
they're clearly talking about things they're not doing well. Again, they want to be able to finish these drives, and again, when you don't finish drives, and again, the Eskimo game earlier today was a prime example. Neither team was finishing drives. They were turning the ball over, and we're seeing kind of the same thing here. They're moving the football, they're throwing the football, but they're not getting in the end zone.
Cole Belway at quarterback, out of the shotgun, firing into the middle. It is picked off by Jaden Dalkey at the 45, over center field to the 50, still going into Colts territory. Still has the football and finally tackled just over the 35-yard line Jaden Dalkey, not only that great interception, but a terrific run back as well of about 36 yards on the play.
Yeah, you know what? He read the quarterback. The quarterback did not throw the ball. We talked about earlier free safety being vacant. Now they had all the defenders deep and they were in great position. Ball fell short. Great job of quickly getting the ball. He secured the ball, but then all those guys turned into blockers, and that allowed him to return the ball. Great heads up and good patience on the run back to put their offense already in great position.
He showed some great moves on that play. Back in the pocket now. Swedish into the middle. Man open. Touchdown!
And that is exactly what you want to do. You want to come back from that. You want to make a great throw, great catch, good job finishing it. And again, if we compare that to earlier in the game, and I know we'll take it back, but Calgary had an opportunity. They completed a long pass over the middle, but the receiver didn't keep his feet when he was in behind coverage. Yeah. He kind of left his feet, had to catch it a little bit with his body, fell to the ground. The difference there, you saw him extend his hands, catch it in stride, which again is a great throw from Swedish, catches it in stride, and that allows him to get into the end zone. So great way to capitalize on a Dalkey interception, and big return, goes straight for the jugular into the end zone for 7 points.
And that's two great catches now by Lucas Howell. We saw the one down here in the far corner at the other end of the turf, but this one equally the same, and he had to go up to get it.
Yeah, I had to get it.
It was a little bit behind him, but he picked it up.
And again, he's not the tallest receiver, but he's using his hops and he's using his hands really well. Great focus, great concentration. Catch it, secure it, get himself to the end zone for the touchdown.
All right, here's Camerata with the point after. Ball is up, and it is through the uprights. And with 10:25 to go in this third quarter, it's a 19-3 football game in favor of the Edmonton Wildcats, and you can see Darcy Park is breathing a little easier now.
Well, guys, Kevin down here on the sideline just going to jump in with a scoring update from out of town. We've got a barn burner in the Battle of Saskatchewan as the Saskatoon Hilltops early in the second half have a 4-point lead over the Regina Thunder. So there's a bit of an upset. You never know. There could be an upset in Regina tonight as well. So 21-17, the Hilltops lead early in the second half. And how did we had to know that if there was going to be a spark for the Wildcats tonight, it was going to come from the defense. And great players make great plays at the right time. And for Jaden Dalkey, that was the right time.
Thank you very much, Kevin. There's a good kickoff all the way down to the 10-yard line. Taken there by the Colts, number 25, Bowers. And Bowers has some room in the middle and is stopped after a run back of close to 10 yards on the play. There is a fumble, and it is going to go in favor of the Wildcats.
Well, and this is the type of football I think Calgary's been trying to avoid. They kind of held on in the first half. They did make some mistakes, but obviously it's starting to unravel in a hurry.
And there is a late flag on the play. I think we're looking at an unsportsmanlike. That's going to bring it.
Hey, red zone already, and again, you're going to look and see the offense. They are going to be aggressive. They're excited. Again, turnovers, 2 in a row now. It could cost Calgary really an opportunity to stay in this game.
So the penalty will move the football just inside the 15-yard line to about the 14. Justin Swedish in at quarterback into the end zone, and incomplete. No, touchdown. It is. It's complete. Touchdown.
Well, great concentration in the back corner of the end zone, almost in the shadow there. And again, he had to stay focused, and couldn't have thrown a better ball. Couldn't have thrown a better ball in the back corner. And again, took a lot of focus because he actually didn't even go up high and high pointed. He had to let it go past the DB, stay focused. Great catch.
Big time play, Rob, into the corner. Big time play by Withrow. And, like we said, for a guy playing on one leg, a great throw for Swedish. So that, that knee has loosened up again.
It looked like from this standpoint that the defender had the position on Withrow, but Withrow was able to pull it down.
Yeah, and you couldn't ask for really better coverage than that. Again, he just has to make a play on the ball, and the Cats made the play on the ball, and the Cats come away with another touchdown.
And just like that, we go from a 9-3 football game to a 26-3 football game with 9:57 to go in the third quarter. And the Wildcats were hoping for this kind of point output, and they're starting to get it now.
They are, and again, they're going to keep things going. They're going to continue to do that, and you can see there with just under 10 minutes left, 26-3, and you can see the snow start to fall. Again, snowflakes in the background, and here we come, winter in September.
And it's only the second day of fall. Wildcats, go ahead.
We don't really get a fall this year, I don't think.
I got nothing.
That is it. It's like, well, yeah, well. I'm just thankful, as I mentioned earlier, I was supposed to be camping last night in Jasper, and I'm sure it's colder and there's more snow there, so I'm excited that we canceled the camping trip and I could stay in the warm house.
Oh, I thought you were one of those tough Alberta guys.
Well, actually, I didn't cancel because I didn't want to go. Although I didn't want to go, it was canceled because our kids didn't want to go at the school, so...
All right, down to the 10-yard line. This is David Bowers with it, up to the 25, still going, and is stopped just short of the 30-yard line. In there to help out on the tackle was number 26, Jack Jones out of McNally.
And Delkey also coming out of the bottom of that pile. You know what? After taking a couple bad penalties, which the coach had to address with him, he's now come back and he's making some great plays. And he kind of triggered that little turnaround there with the interception. And now the defense, again, they're getting hungry. So the momentum has been shifted. Calgary's lost any momentum they had. This defense is hungry. You're going to see them be aggressive here, and they're going to come downhill at their quarterback, and they're going to continue to try to force them into bad throws.
Still out of that three-man front. And now the blitz was on from the outside, and the pass incomplete. Intended out there for number 82. That was Brandon McIsaac, but coming in on the outside was Chopper Hippie once again.
Yeah, again, forcing him to throw the ball again. You feel a little bit of pressure. You got to get it out in a hurry. Ball sails a little bit high. The receiver was open, had the opportunity, just ball was high, couldn't get up there.
2nd and 10. Ball on about the 28-yard line. 3 receivers to the far side looking that way. There is the pass into the middle. It is almost picked off, and diving for it, but just missing it, was number 27, Jordan Wilson out of Salisbury, another first-year player out there.
You know, it almost seems like we're seeing a different quarterback. You mean in the second quarter, and I know he's thrown into the wind, which is going to make a little difference, but it doesn't seem like, well, up here it doesn't seem too strong. Kevin, you can tell us how strong it is down there, but
it's definitely picking up, guys. I mean, as you mentioned, Rob, you know, the flags at the top of Commonwealth are straight, you know, are you know, flat horizontal, but definitely the wind is picking up out of the south, guys.
There's the high snap, pulled down, and a short kick. It's going to be end over end, and caught on the fly by Jake Withrow. He drops it, but it will be recovered, and there will be a flag on the play, no yards. In there to pick up the loose ball was number 34, Hunter Lawson.
And that's good heads-up play by Withrow to get in there, knowing someone's in that kind of 5-yard halo around him. He's going to gain 15 yards because of the no yards call here. And it's going to, once again, that offense is going to be an outstanding starting field position. There we go, no yards, and the ball's going to move further in favor of the Edmonton Wildcats.
And we talk about Jaden Dalkey being the spark plug on defense for the Wildcats. How about Jake Withrow tonight in terms of special teams, you know, the returns, and this latest return plus that touchdown catch, guys? Jake Withrow is really leading this offense as well.
He is he actually is the leading punt returner in the Prairie Football Conference coming into this football game. He's got the speed, there's no question about it. You know, here's a handoff once again, and this time it will be taken by number 29, Braden Chilliback, and Chilliback gets good yardage out of that one.
We got a flag down here on the close sideline right in front of Kevin there. I think, Kevin, you could probably grab that and hide it in your hood and they'd never find it again. But I think this is maybe going against Edmonton.
I was just so you guys could spot me.
In the
snow, I may, you know, you guys may lose me. We have a game tomorrow coming up. I just thought maybe with all this snow accumulating, maybe a little neon wouldn't hurt, you know, just in case I disappear.
We have a mask call against the Wildcats, and that'll move the football down to the 4-yard line. So again, the Wildcats are on the move. Colts taking that 15-yard penalty. This is Swedish Hands it off once again, and once again it is Braden Chillibeck, and he plows down.
I think he's right down to the 1 yard line. They called him down. It was really, really close.
Wow.
He was about half, well, he's right at the 1 yard line, guys.
And we talked about Hunter Lawson while we've got a second here. One of the rarities in the Prairie Football Conference, any league for that matter, 3 brothers playing on the same team. Hunter Larson, Carter Larson, and Mackenzie Lawson. How often does that happen?
It doesn't happen very often. And right there, Justin Swedish didn't get in. And again, they kind of had a decent push. I don't know if he lost his footing there, but it looks like he had slipped a little bit. Maybe that's a little bit of the slicker conditions. And again, he wasn't able to get the drive to get into the end zone, although I thought his O-line did a pretty good job of getting the space. And maybe, again, hate to blame things on that knee, but maybe just not having the power to get it in there.
He tries it once again, and once again. Well, we'll see now. The ball comes loose. They whistle it down. There is going to be a flag.
Yeah, and a flag on both sides of the field, so it's going to be, I'm not sure which way this is going, but again, once again, the Calgary defense had a goal line stand on the interior.
Yeah. It just doesn't look like he's able to push off the way he wants to.
No, and again, if you saw him line up under center, he's actually got that right foot forward, left foot back a little bit. So again, in order to get that push, he's got to take a negative step with his right foot just based on his stance and then try to drive forward. But you can see based on the reaction of the players, the penalty was against Edmonton, so that would be declined, and Calgary is going to take over the ball on their own 1 yard line. This is going to be a 109-yard field they've got to march. And you know this defense is going to be hungry to try to get that ball out in the end zone and maybe score themselves. So they're going to try to pin him in here.
And guys, footing is now, you can now say footing is now officially a factor, guys. That's part of the reason. Of course, Swedish's knee injury is one thing, but the turf down here is starting to get a little slick, guys.
Cole Belway at quarterback. He's in the end zone. Is he going to be taken down for the 2? Yes, he is. And in there to make the tackle was number 32, Atlas Blanchette Van Oplu.
And you know, when the offense is lined up at the 1 yard line, number 92 was hungry. He was excited to get in there, and he chased him down and wouldn't let him go. Quarterback almost got away, and so again, Belway almost got away from him. He was trying to roll out, and he is an athletic quarterback. Couldn't quite get out of the grasp of him and down for the safety. And so now the Calgary offense is going to be heading to the sidelines, and special teams is going to come on and receive the ball for the Edmonton Wildcats.
Some pretty good speed and pretty good moves by a big guy. Cole Milford, number 92.
Yeah, you know what? Chasing down a quick, mobile quarterback is never easy for those guys. And you can see as we take a look with 7:17 left in the quarter, 28-3 Wildcats, and the snow is getting thicker and winter is settling in.
I can hear John Facenda, the frozen tundra of Clarke Stadium. For sure. It's a Prairie Football Conference, so it might as well snow. I mean, come on, guys. We are where we are.
And that's why curling season starts next week.
Yeah, right. Actually, about 10 feet from me.
There's the kickoff, a short one to Jaden Dalkey, and Dalkey takes it down to the 50-yard line. And will that be enough to spark another offensive push by the Wildcats? He did it the last time.
Well, when you can kick the ball off into what we now see as a little bit more of a heavier wind, the ball goes nowhere, and then you happen to kick it to one of the best athletes on the Wildcats team, and you could see as soon as he got the ball, he was hungry to get another good return, and that he did to set up the Edmonton offense already in Calgary territory.
Out there is Carter Lawson, one of the 3 Lawson brothers, and there's the handoff. Right up the middle, again, taken by number 25, Ramon English. I knew he'd get some action out of that backfield sooner or later.
Yeah, we haven't seen him a lot in the first half again. I mean, they got a couple backs that come and go. And again, when you can have fresh legs, again, they're bringing their speed back in, again, to give them an opportunity for the big play. And now they can kind of rotate. And again, you keep your running backs fresh. That's going to help your offense throughout the course of the year.
English comes off. Adebayo comes on. 3 receivers, 4 to the far side. There's Adebayo. Slices up the middle, rumbles over the 35 and down to about the 37-yard line. And we have a late flag on the play.
That's David Adebayo straight ahead for first
Don't
down.
think it's going to be a holding call. It was awfully
Yeah,
late for that.
it looked like it was. He's probably going to talk to Calgary, but I'm pretty sure it's going against Edmonton. And again, it was the back judge that saw it, so he usually, as the play develops, he's the one watching for those things from the backside of the offensive line.
So that run will go for naught, and they'll move it back 10 yards with 6:21 to go in this third quarter. 28-3 in favor of the Wildcats over the Colts.
So another undisciplined penalty, again, probably not needed based on the run. And again, now they're in 2nd and 12 instead of 2nd and 2, or what would have been already a first down. So again, Darcy Park's not going to be happy, but again, let's see if they can convert this 2nd and long.
Swedish fakes once, into the middle, screen, pass complete, and taken down by number 25, Ramon English once again. And English will get back to about the original line of scrimmage, maybe a couple more. And that will be 3rd, and they'll be punting it away.
Well, good job by the offense actually set up and draw the defensive lineman in. They did a good job of getting the screen in behind. This time the onus then now becomes the receivers to make sure they get blocks downfield. And the secondary from Calgary did a great job of pursuing to the ball and gang tackling to make sure he couldn't go anywhere with that screenplay.
So Rosario Camarada to kick this one away. Gets a good spiraling kick all the way back to the 10-yard line. They drop the football. It goes into the end zone. There's a race for it. And falling on the ball is Brad Hillier. And
So this is going to be a really interesting call, because if he touched it outside the end zone, it actually may go for a safety. But it looks like based on what the officials are saying, it's just going to be a single, and their offense will retain the ball. But I'm not sure if that was the case, and unfortunately, no replay tonight.
Yeah, I was about no replay tonight, but I was about 10 yards away. I think he made the way he chased after the football, he made a little bit of contact with it, but got away with one there. But great downfield coverage by the Wildcats, who seemingly have turned around their special teams issues tonight, guys.
And you can bet that Darcy Park was having a little discussion with a couple of those officials down there, but they shook their heads, said nope, just a single point, 29-3, and there's the handoff left side. And a gain of about maybe 2 or 3 yards on the play for the Colts.
And the ball hits the ground again, and I think our all-star DB, Dalkey, came up with it again. I wasn't quite sure, but it looked like he came out of that pile with the football again. So clearly the defense doing an amazing job of just taking the ball away. It's not even turnovers anymore. They're just taking the ball away from the Calgary Colts offense, and they're not given an opportunity to get any momentum back. And the offense for the Wildcats are doing their job and moving the ball. And again, when you get the ball inside your opponent's zone 3-4 times in a row, you're going to get points on the board, and they're looking for more.
Straight back, Swedish is out of the pocket, and he is running with it, and finally taken down at about the 30-yard line, a run of about, maybe 5 or 6 yards on the play. And he gets up quickly, so all is good.
You know, it's amazing as a player when you're injured, you in a close game that's not going well and you're not making plays, everything doesn't feel good. But you can see Swedish after that hit on the run, he bounced up quickly to the huddle, no limp. He's obviously feeling better because the offense is moving the ball. The team is playing a lot better in the second half.
English, the halfback, the hand off to Ramon English, and he moves it ahead enough for the first down. It looks like now we've got all kinds of flags going on, and I think tempers are getting a little short on the Calgary side of the ball.
Yeah, you could see the Edmonton Wildcats offensive lineman get up a little upset at something, and then number 99 from the Calgary Colts came in and gave him a shot. Now, looking at what I saw, it was a little bit of a fall. He definitely gave him a shot, but again, it drew the flags, and now, again, an undisciplined penalty is going to, I think, help Edmonton in their offense.
You are going against Calgary.
And up it goes. And I know my drama teacher at my school this weekend was doing their casting call, and they were picking all their things. And I think I'm going to give the Edmonton Wildcats offensive lineman a nice little shot for making sure the refs saw the contact.
Did a little selling,
he did a good job.
A little bit?
He did a good job. I haven't seen. Usually he doesn't fall that quick when he's in contact, but that time he made sure outside the whistle he fell, and he got himself 15 yards.
Maybe he's a soccer player on the side. Back in the pocket now. Justin Swedish, rather, the pass complete. And down just to the goal line. Touchdown! Leighton Barasenko.
And again, undisciplined plays leads to momentum. Momentum leads to everybody making plays. And great job getting into the end zone. Great pass, and away we go. And the Wildcats have taken control of this one in a hurry.
And the teammates coming out to congratulate Leighton Barasenko on his first Prairie Football Conference touchdown.
What an excited kid too. When he saw the pylon, he wasn't going to be denied. And as I'll tell you, this is as animated a sideline as I've seen with the Wildcats all season long. It's great to see, guys.
You betcha. There's the point after by Camerata. And not only does he put it through the uprights, he puts it through the end zone almost to the fence down there. Kid's got a good leg.
Yeah, and you could even see the difference in the field goal kicking in Calgary. Their kicker just isn't getting the arc, it doesn't have that smooth swing in his leg. And so again, we saw one that kind of sailed wide and was returned at the end of the first half. Again, Wildcats doing a great job of making sure they're getting their kicks in. Again, you don't want to be giving away those points. And I know at this point in time in the game with a 33-point lead with 3:53 left in the third, I mean, this is probably the most explosive quarter the Wildcats have had in years.
So it looks like Cody Olsen is warming up down there on the sidelines, and he will come in and see some action. It'll be interesting to see what kind of plays he's going to call. The practices this week, he was getting a lot more reps than he normally would, and they designed an offense specifically for Cody Olsen, and we'll see how that goes when he comes out, which will probably be on the next series of plays.
And injuries are never good, but again, you want to get your young quarterbacks opportunities to play. You want to get them to take some reps, even if it's only a few. Again, over the long haul, it makes a big difference. And so here we go.
Camerata's end over end down to about the 15-yard line. Dropped there, but picked up by Bowers. And Bowers will move it up over the 30, and he'll stop at about the 31-yard line. So a run back of close to 15 yards and a first down for the Calgary Colts with 3:47 to go in the third quarter.
Well, at this point, the Calgary Colts are happy they held on to the ball. And again, you can see on the field, you can start to see the footsteps of the players as they run around. So now the snow is settling again, the temperature dropping, and the snow is settling on the turf. So again, footing is going to continue to be an issue. Ball security is going to continue to be an issue. So we'll see which team takes care of the ball here as we near the end of the third quarter.
30-yard line, first down for the Colts. Cole Belway still in at quarterback. He's gone the whole way for the Colts in this one. Back in the pocket, looks to the boundary side, complete. Taken there by number 11, Dylan Pye out of Burt Church High School in Calgary.
And if you're Tim Kurse, guys, you got to feel pretty good about Cole Belway tonight. I mean, he's stood in there taking some shots, and he's got a big league arm. So you've got to give credit to the kid, because this Wildcat defense has really turned it on tonight, guys.
Talking to some of the coaches before the game, Kevin, they mentioned that he had a little bit of a tough time adjusting to the offense put out there by the Calgary coaches, coming over from the Calgary Dinos, of course, but he has really shown some interesting athleticism tonight. No question about that.
On a big stop by the Wildcat defense on 2nd and 1. I think they lost about 8 inches on that play. And again, big stop, good push by the defensive lineman to not give the running backs any room. An interesting decision here for Tim. Again, maybe the footing has to do with it. On a 3rd and about 1.5 yards, he's going to punt it back to the Wildcats, whose offense is gaining some ground and momentum and ready to strike again.
More and more first-year players going out there for the Wildcats. Colton McNeil from Harry Ainley getting his first action of the season. He'll be playing out there in that cornerback position. All right, the special team was on, and now it's coming off, and the defense is going back out.
Well, there we go.
So the Colts are going to go for it.
So they should, and I'm not sure if I see a change at quarterback, but I think number 6, Sean Vandal. Sorry, how do you say that last name? Vandervlis is in the huddle, so we'll see. I don't know if he's the short down back, if they have a short down package, because again, a lot of times now you're seeing a little bit less at this level, but at the higher levels, you're seeing the backup quarterback comes in on 3rd and 1, 2nd and short, like goal line type of stuff. So one, it gives you a chance to talk to your starting quarterback. 2, he's obviously a little bit of a bigger body. Maybe they'll get in behind these old linemen and see if they can convert this into a first down.
All right, Sean Vandervlis at quarterback. Over center. Long count, takes the football and tries to go ahead but can't. A great job by that defensive line, breaking off the football and getting in behind the offensive line, actually, to get hold of the quarterback.
Well, they clearly lost the line of scrimmage right from the snap. He stood up and had nowhere to go. The offensive line got pushed right back into him, and there was just absolutely nowhere to go, and the defense made the tackle, wrapped him up, pulled him down. And so, again, offense taking the ball. I don't think they've started to drive this half in their own end. They've done a great job. The defense and special teams have done a great job of putting their offense in a position to strike for points.
Again, it was Cole Milford out of Holy Rosary High School in Lloydminster.
And we've got a bunny rabbit ripping across the field here. Let's see if Colton sees him.
Why
great
not?
Run. He's chasing the rabbit. He's almost going to get to the end zone. What a great run as he breaks back across the field.
Dustin Pollock with the football, and he'll run it up to about 20 yards or so, and it'll be enough for the first down.
I go to a football game and I end up at a greyhound race in Florida. only the weather's not quite the same, but it looked like a greyhound race.
We can only wish this game was in Florida right now.
No kidding. You don't have to ask me twice. Let's hit the road with this thing.
At quarterback is Cody Olson. Olson takes the ball himself. He's at the 5 and is taken down there from behind by number 40 for the Colts, Jonas Haney from the Kamloops Broncos. And that'll be a run of about maybe 7 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 3. So Cody Olson in at quarterback, and as we said, they've designed some plays for his abilities, and one of his abilities is that he can run very quickly.
Yeah, and again, you can see his quick step there up the middle, and he gained 7 yards there on first down, put him in great position.
There's the handoff again, 22 into the end zone. It is Dustin Pollock.
When it rains and pours, and you can kind of see, obviously momentum has changed in favor of the Wildcats. You know, we talk about the defense making turnovers, special teams making plays, but really each of these drives, the defense has stepped up big time, made plays, and obviously that third down was another one where they're just getting the ball back in the hands of their offense, and their offense is now converting. And, you know, Darcy's going to be a lot more excited. You know, and again, the game gets out of hand, but you want everybody to convert. You want everybody to do their job. You want your backup core to go in and be successful. Again, that speaks to the longevity of success that they're trying to build here in the Wildcats organization.
Here's the point after from Camerata. It's good. And with 51 seconds to go in the third quarter, the Edmonton Wildcats are cruising along 42-3 in their favor. And I'll tell you what, this has got to be another start of momentum, if you like, for the Wildcats, because they've got a tough road to hoe for the rest of this season if they hope to make the playoffs.
They do. They're going to have to win almost all their games pretty much and get some help from some other teams. And again, when you're talking about junior football, you mean this game up until the half was actually pretty close. So anything can happen. Turnovers, you've got snow on the ground. It's going to be cold. And I don't know if it's warming up a whole lot over the next couple of weeks. So again, you got to do your job. You got to take care of your job. And that's what Darcy's talking to his team about. He says, we have to come in. We have to win this game. We're not thinking about next week. We're not thinking about what's going on. Our job is this week to execute, and they're definitely doing that here in the third quarter.
Just to review, the Wildcats are on the road next weekend, and they are in Saskatoon to play the Hilltops. You know that's going to be a tough one, and that will be on October the 6th, actually. And next week they have the week off. Oh, no, they're down south, actually. They're taking on the Regina Thunder. in a big game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the rest of the season, taking on the Thunder and then taking on the Hilltops. It's a tough way to go.
It's a tough road, but you know what? Again, not being able to execute at a high level last week and dropping that game has really cost them, and now it's an uphill battle. But again, step one is to win here. And again, the way it was going in the first half, it wasn't look like they're going to gain some momentum, but clearly their offense is moving the ball, and now they've got the momentum.
And of course, they wrap up the season against the Huskies, so it just doesn't get any easier for the rest of this year. Back in the pocket, the pass complete from Bellway to number 17, Dallas Burke. And that'll be enough to pick up about 5 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd and 5. They'll mark the ball just over the 35-yard line.
And guys, we have an update from the out-of-town scoreboard. Those Hilltops lead the Regina Thunder 28-17 late in the third quarter, guys.
Starting to pull away a little bit. No question the Hilltops are the class of this league. Almost intercepted, and in there was number 2, Tony Savchuk, the Jasper Place grad. Just about had a pick six on that one.
Yeah, you can actually sense this hunger in the secondary, knowing, hey, we're going to force them to throw. They like throwing the ball. Let's get our hands on the ball. And I'm sure Coach Donnan down there, who's the defensive coordinator for the Wildcats, is saying, hey, if they want to come out and they want to sling the ball in this type of weather, when that ball is in the air, it's an opportunity for us.
And let's go downstairs again. Here's Kevin.
Well, thanks so much, Dave. I'll just do a nice walk into this stand-up. But one thing that the Wildcats want to do is they, of course, talk about establishing that culture. And one of the most important events that they've had this season off-field was when they held a seminar with the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters to talk about gender-based violence prevention. Jan Reimer, the executive director of the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters, was on hand with the entire team and the entire staff. And they spent the afternoon together covering a lot of important issues, and a lot of the players walked away from that session both enlightened and ready to lead in the community. So it was a very important afternoon for the Wildcats, and certainly the entire organization wants to thank Jan Reimer and the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters for getting involved in that vital and important program, and that happened just a few days ago. Was covered extensively in the media, so a big congratulations to both organizations for getting together to talk about these important community issues. And of course, we also want to congratulate the Wildcats on their 70th anniversary season, and we also want to draw our football fans to the Wildcats Facebook page and their website, where you can take a look at the 70th anniversary All-Star team. And Dave Rozak, of course, it's a who's who of Edmonton football. Howie Shum, Oscar Kruger, Sean Kehoe, Dave Zaharko, Emilio Frietta, and Marco Sincar, among others. So it's just a great list of names and a great walkthrough yesteryear, guys.
Many names that I remember
Absolutely.
there on that list, boy, I'll tell you.
It was a pipeline to the Eskimos. This organization in the late 70s, early 80s, like players like Emilio Frietta, who's an Edmonton guy and played defensive halfback and was an outstanding punt return. So some great players and great memories for everybody, Dave.
No question about it, Kevin. No question about it. Here's the punt from the Colts. It's an end over end, comes down to about the 45-yard line. On the run again is Jake Withrow, and Withrow just keeps on going and will get a run back of close to 12 yards on the play as they mark it down around the 50. And again, the Wildcats with good field position as we start the fourth quarter.
Yeah, special teams and defense are doing a great job in there. You can see there's a flag. I think it's probably the 5-yard variety of no yards, but they're going to get a few more yards tacked on here. So we'll see the offense back at work trying to move this football and get into the end zone again.
14:46 to go, 42-3 in favor of the Wildcats. 5-yard penalty it is. That moves the ball to about the 47-yard line in Colt territory. Out there now for the Wildcats is Alex Fox out of Bev Facey, another first-year man. Flanked way out to this side. Olsen running with it, now takes off, gets around the outside, gets one past one tackler, and then falls to the turf just over the 35-yard line to about the 34. So, again, Cody Olsen showing that athleticism.
Well, he was fast, and you could see he was not slowing down. There's no thought of hook sliding. He was full speed, and fortunately for him, when you come full speed like that, you sometimes can take a shot. But great job of converting the first down and getting him a new set of downs here in great field position on the 35 of the Calgary Colts.
And Olsen will send 4 flankers to the outside. Hands it off right up the middle and smashed to the ground after a short gain was number 32 out there now, and that is Atlas Blanchette Van Oplu.
And Jonas and they're making the tackle. And again, good job of meeting him at the line of scrimmage and wrapping him up. Again, as things get cold, it's, everything gets cold. Your fingers, your arms, everything's cold. And again, when you're down like the Calgary Colts, it's hard to continue to play. But clearly, Tim's got them motivated to continue to fight right to the end here. Olsen
at quarterback, steps back, corner route, pass complete at the 5, touchdown! Alex Fox with his first PFC touchdown.
Well, it's always great to get some of those young guys touchdowns, get them excited about football, get them excited about being part of this organization, and what a beautiful ball there. And again, great route by the receiver. He kind of just bent it in just a little bit to buy himself space. And we tell receivers when they're running down the sideline on those go routes or those 9 routes, he's like, buy yourself a little space, because what you're doing is you're giving the quarterback a bigger target area, and you can make the adjustment a yard outside, a yard inside, and he did exactly that. Secured the ball in this cold weather to get him another major.
And Olsen with the near perfect pass. I mean, he dropped it right into his arms. Right?
Oh, absolutely beautiful. And we talked about, we saw him a little bit last week when he got some game time. And again, when they created a pocket and they gave him good time to throw the ball, he threw the ball well. And so again, when we talk about a package for a quarterback, as a coach, you take the skills of your quarterback. And again, they happen to have 2 that have been getting some reps in the last couple of games. You want to put them in a successful position. And so not every quarterback can run everything the same as your starter or your backup or whoever that may be. And so again, you change the play call a little bit. Your system, the base of your system usually stays the same, and every quarterback's expected to run that, but you're going to change a few things up and put them in position to be successful. That being an example, straight drop back, let him throw the ball downfield, and he did it to perfection.
49-3 now the score with 13:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Rosario Camarada doing the kickoff honors for the Wildcats. He'll get another good one away. Down to about the 20-yard line, taken there by Hillier. Hillier up to the 30. Dipsy doodles around a couple of players and is finally taken down at about the 33-yard line.
And of course, guys, with 13:16 to go in this one, want to remind our viewers to make sure you get some rest and join us tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, here at Clarke Stadium. The Winnipeg Rifles take on the Edmonton Huskies, and that Rifles team would love to make it 2 in a row in it. Of course, they took down the Wildcats last week, so it's going to be a good one. Tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, the ICU video procast of Prairie Football Conference action. 1 o'clock, Huskies take on the Rifles, guys.
Seems every time the Rifles show up here, the weather turns bad for some strange reason. There's the pass on the far side. It is complete to Brandon McIsaac. McIsaac gets around a couple of tacklers and is finally stopped at the center field stripe, and that is one of the bigger gains of this second half for the Calgary Colts.
Well, it would only make sense coming from Winnipeg that they bring snow, let's be honest.
Yeah. Except that last week when they were here, it was like plus 20 in Winnipeg.
And by the time the snow arrived, it was rain.
There you go. All right, they marked the ball at the 53-yard line. There's the handoff once again taken by David Bowers out of Holy Trinity, and they're going back to that now. Run on first down, pass on second down. That worked so well for them in the first half.
Well, you're right. It has been working well. And again, when you have second and medium, we'll call it 4 to 7 yards. Your playbook is much larger. You have a lot more plays that you can call because you don't have to worry about getting to a 10 or a 12-yard depth on your routes. You can take the 4 to 5 yard routes, and so your playbook's a lot bigger. You still have the threat of run, so linebackers aren't taking off right away and helping out in the secondary.
2nd and 3. Cole Bellway at quarterback, passes to the outside. It is well over the head of number 22, Jack Halverson. And That will cause a third and about 3 yards to go, but it looks like the offense will stay out there. Well, sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, give you your opportunity to reps. Again, you don't necessarily want to blow this open, but again, if they're talking about getting reps, again, either they could punt, but hey, let's get your quarterback reps. Let's get your young guys reps. That's how you build an organization. That's how you build a plan for the future.
4 receivers out to this side. Looking to the other side, there's the pass over the head of number 11, Dylan Pye, and that will be a third and out, and the Wildcats will take over the football in Calgary territory.
You know, Cole Belway is just having a really hard time in this third and now fourth quarter, just throwing the ball with accuracy. I mean, he was on the money almost the entire first half, moving the ball. They didn't get touchdowns out of it, but we talked about his numbers, and had great numbers for a quarterback. And this half, it's going to be, almost none. He's missing guys all over the place, just not converting on the passing plays.
All right, ball in Wildcat territory, actually, at the 50-yard line. Cody Olson, the quarterback, and he calls his own number and is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure if that was a read option or just he called his own number anyway.
Yeah, it was a read option. Again, the quarterbacks have the choice to pull that out. And actually, interesting enough, something Darcy had mentioned to me, it's one of the areas they're wanting him to develop in and actually making the read. And so you teach your quarterback to look at a certain player, and if that player does this, you pull it. If he does that, you give it. And again, so that's the read he's going to have to learn, and it only comes with experience.
Straight up the middle, once again. And still moving with it is, I believe, number 22, Dustin Pollock. Van Oplu, number 32. And, of course, the one thing that a young quarterback like Cody Olson just may make up his mind prior to the snap of the ball that he's going to take it anyway, so that really takes the read part out of the option.
Yeah, and again, as a coach with a young quarterback, you want to teach him that, to make the read, and there's opportunities where it's like if he continually gives and gives and gives to the running back, you're going to say, hey, make sure you're watching this, but again, then they get focused on keeping it, and so you got to get that balance in there. And so he's going to learn from it, though. He's going to be able to watch the film, and that's really where you do the learning, because then you can see what is actually happening in the backfield, what's happening with the defensive lineman, and then you can make your read off of that.
All right, off that short punt. The ball will be put down at about the 35-yard line, and the Calgary Colts will take over from that point. Well, it looks like the snow is kind of tapered off a little bit now. It's more of a mist than anything else.
We'll see with 9:41 here if the Colts offense can find that rhythm that they had in the first half. And again, you're going to continue to preach that to your guys. You got to go to the end. It's the long game here. Let's continue to work, continue to learn from our experience here.
The toughest thing that these coaches really have to deal with, I think, is the motivational factor going into each one of these games, because when you're up 49-3 and you've lost a number of games, I think it was 79-1 or something like that to Saskatoon. It's tough to get these guys motivated.
It's hard, and not only is it hard on the players that are here, but you look around about how you're going to get the guys in the building. And again, when you go over on a year, which is is what Calgary's looking at right now, and not being able to produce some kids will be like, hey, it's an opportunity to get in and play right away, but not realizing the level they're going to have to play at. But again, they may not want to go and play there if it's a losing organization. And again, they have had so much success in the past, and we've talked about that. They've got to get things going, and again, it starts little by little, getting the right people in the building.
And guys, midway through the fourth quarter, Dave mentioned the Hilltops starting to pull away. Well, they have indeed pulled away, and they look to remain perfect. They lead midway through the fourth quarter in Regina, 41-17, which sets up that massive showdown next weekend with the Huskies and the Hilltops. That's going to be a doozy.
Back in the pocket, Belway throwing long. He has a man open at the 30, to the 40, to the 20, 15-10, touchdown! Dallas Burke.
Well, we talk about the strength of Calgary, and they are throwing the ball, and they've got in behind him a few times. once. They made a catch, went to the ground. That time he kept his feet and got all the way to the end zone, outraced him for the last bit. And so a good chunk of yak yards for the receiver, and that's what you want to teach your guys to do. Don't lose your feet. Keep your feet running. Keep your feet moving. Get all the way to the end zone.
Burke had to really put on the jets to get underneath that ball to pick it up because it looked like it was going to go over his head, but he came down with it.
He did a great job of accelerating into that ball and continuing and making his quarterback look great. And again, it was a bomb. It was a long ways. And so here, looks like they're lining up to go for 2. Again, another rep for their offense.
All right, straight back now, looking into the end zone. Lots of time. There's the pass. It is incomplete. And it looked like the receiver and the defensive back collided. And obviously the official saying that the receiver ran into the defensive back. And that was number 25, David Bowers. He was going up against Chopper Hippie on that play.
Pretty sure he tackled him there. You know, if I was that receiver, I would not be very happy when you end up on the ground and the ball's thrown to you with the defensive guy on top of you. But clearly the ref had a good vantage point. He was right there in front of him. And you can see Coach Tim, I think, is out on the field giving the officials a peace of mind as he jogs by, because clearly something was missed there. And unfortunately, again, with no replay tonight, we're not able to get a second look and confirm that the refs are wrong. Because, of course, as a coach, it's not often I feel they're right when the flags are coming out.
That is the first touchdown of the season for these Colts. So, you know what? It's been a long season in Calgary. We talked about it tonight, but you know what? A kind of a nice little celebration for a team that is definitely taking its lumps in 2018, but a chance to celebrate for a team that hasn't had much of a chance.
Make that bus ride home a little easier. Here's Jaden Dalkey on the kickoff. He's over the center field stripe into Colts territory, just over the 50-yard line. And hey, Jaden Dalkey may have found a whole new career as a kick returner.
He gets a lot of work, and again, it looks like they're kicking to him a lot. I would suggest that Calgary kicked a short kick to the other side of the field.
There you go.
Keep it out of his hands. He is a playmaker, and if you put the ball in his hands, he's going to bust one, and that one was very, very close to going all the way to the house.
I got a funny feeling there's going to be quite a party going on tonight in the Dalkey mobile.
Out there in the compound in the south parking lot. I think the RV is going to be rocking tonight, guys.
There you go.
And it looks like number 9 was the injured Calgary Colt.
Zach Jantz.
9:02 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Might be favoring his right leg just a little bit, but he should be okay. So it'll be first down for the Wildcats. The ball is on the 49-yard line. 9:02 to go in the football game. Cody Olsen at quarterback. Oh, no, sorry, there have been another change. Mark Barber is the quarterback, and we were talking about that at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I've got a connection to Mark Barber. His older sister actually is a staff member at the school I'm working at, and I ran into her and was talking to her, again, a graduate of Ross Shep, who started at Shep for his 3 years there, and getting his opportunity tonight here to experience Prairie football.
Boy, that's got to be a big thrill for the youngster. He'd be what, 17, 18?
Well, probably 18, maybe 19. We'll see. And it looks like he's going to get a fresh set of downs with his great run. Although there's a flag here that may negate this run. And sure enough it is. It looks like it's going to be holding on the Wildcats. So although Barber is going to get another second down, it's going to be 2nd and 20 here.
And that is the other half of the Prankard running duo. That is Tim Prankard.
We're getting all sorts of new bodies in the game tonight. And again, Darcy talked about building a sustainable organization that's going to have a winning tradition. You've got to get those young guys experience early. You can't wait for their 3rd and 4th year. You got to get them the experience, because that's how they're going to grow. That's how they're going to learn about the speed of the game and the intensity of the game once they move on from high school to junior football.
Ball at the 51-yard line. 2nd and a whole bunch. Back in the pocket now, looking downfield. Good pass. And out of bounds, intended down there for Leighton Barasenkov, and just thrown over his head. But nice pass, though. It was well thrown by
nice ball, just a little bit outside. And again, a young quarterback, he's probably not getting a lot of reps during the week, especially with the question mark on Swedish and how much he would play. But again, good job getting in, letting the young guy throw the ball, giving him some confidence. Yes, I can get it downfield. He keeps those balls in bounds. I guarantee one of the two is likely going to be caught.
Well, you see all three quarterbacks down there gathered around the offensive coordinator. There's a short kick off the side of Camerata's foot, and it'll be out of bounds at around the 44-yard line.
And guys, with a 40-point lead and 8 minutes to go in the football game, of course, for Darcy Park, the concern is getting out of the game, finishing the game with his without any injuries. But guys, right now the field is really taking a pretty bad turn. The field is now frozen. It is covered in snow, but there is a layer of frost, so footing is going to be a concern, and obviously the Wildcats just want to get out of here tonight.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Back in the pocket now is Cole Bellway. Bellway's pass is complete at the 50-yard line to number 17, Dallas Burke. And Burke with the lone touchdown of the season, actually, for the Calgary Colts. And he picks up about, we'll see where they mark it down here.
A great job of using his hands in cold, wet, frozen conditions. It's critical that you do catch the ball clean, and he did a great job there of catching it and holding on to it.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Bellway once again up the middle, taken by number 25, David Bowers. Bowers has done the bulk of the running for this Colts team tonight. He needed to get to about the 54-yard line. They'll mark it at the 53. So he's about a yard short. And
and he did.
They'll get the big guys out there now, the Elephants.
Yeah, they're going to bring the big guys out and see if they can convert this and continue this drive. But once again, you could see him hit that pile pretty hard, and the pile didn't move. So that's a testament to the work that the interior linemen from the Wildcats defense are doing to just kind of stand up the center and guard and not allow any kind of movement.
All right, Sean Vandervlis comes in at quarterback. Everybody up on the line of scrimmage. They're going to go for it. 3 seconds to go on the play clock. Vandervlis goes to the outside, battles, and is pushed back. I don't think he made it.
He's not, and again, number 7, Hippie, did a great job of standing him up, kept his feet going, and pushed him back. So I do not think they converted this one.
Joffer Hippie battling with Vliss and holding him. They're going to call for the chains. Doesn't look like, from what I can see here, and we look over across the field, I don't think he made it, but we'll wait for the officials. Okay, they get that chain thing done right that time.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure the marker's in the right spot. Get the chain crew coming out, and I think they're going to probably end up being half a yard short, maybe. It's going to be short by about a foot and a half.
So another turnover on downs, and the Wildcats offense goes back to work. And we'll see who goes in there at quarterback.
Well, it's a young gun Barber back in there.
There you go. Mark Barber out of Ross Shep, 6'1", 175 pounds, playing in his first Prairie Football Conference game, as are many of these young men. The 3 receivers out to this side, including Nathan Levine out of Hunting Hills, playing in his first game, and there'll be a procedure call on this one. It'll go against the Wildcats.
Yeah, and I don't know you obviously can't hear it from up where we are, but he's going to move it back 5 yards. But again, you get a new quarterback in, and that changes things because every quarterback's cadence a little bit different. They try to make them the same, and I know when you get to your quarterback room with your coach, you're trying to say, okay, we got to work on keeping the tempo the same, and you got to keep it the same because everybody gets used to that. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of that chemistry piece, and so that could have been part of why someone jumped because it's just going a little bit different for the young guy.
Handoff in the backfield, and taken down for a loss is number 35, Tim Prankard. We also have a flag on the play.
I think they're going to get their 5 yards back. And again, one strategy, one weapon that a quarterback has is using his cadence. And there it looked like he did a good job to use the cadence to get the 5 yards back. And let's see if they can get a playoff now.
All right, 5:44 to go in the fourth quarter. 50-9 in favor of the Edmonton Wildcats on the road next week against the Regina Thunder. And the Regina Thunder will be in a mean mood after the apparent shellacking that they are taking at the hands of the Saskatoon Hilltops. And there's the handoff, and once again stopped in front of the line of scrimmage and probably thrown for a loss.
I think it was a loss for about 2 yards. They gave him forward momentum, and so that could have actually helped out the Eskimos. One of their turnovers was forward momentum. If they would have blown the whistle, and that could have changed the game. And again, you can see when you talk about a running back getting forward momentum, it's a hard call for officials, because if they kind of keep their feet and they try to keep running, it's like at what point in time do you negate kind of forward momentum and say, okay, he's ran back a little bit. But there they gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, Barber with the pass. It is complete at the center field stripe, and falling down was number 37, Danny Johnson, out of St. Albert Catholic High School, and he was very disappointed himself because he thought he had some room to run, and he did on the outside.
Well, when you get in the game and you want to take advantage of those opportunities, again, the footing is not great, and so you can't blame him for that. But again,
the footing is terrible.
He was excited to get the ball in his hands, and again, another one of those fullbacks. Obviously, Edmonton's doing a good job using their fullbacks, mixing it up, and giving them a chance to make some plays.
Okay, this is Camerata with another good spiraling kick, but it is going to be short. And we'll see where they mark it out. It'll be somewhere around the 30-yard line, exactly on the 30, in fact.
It's a perfect field for broom ball, if anyone ever remembers that one. If anyone ever remembers that, that sport, I'll tell you, it's a perfect night for broom ball out here, guys.
The question is, does the equipment manager of either of these teams bring their bag of broom ball shoes?
You could use them. Honestly, Rob, it is very, very slippery out here, and that's why with that open receiver, he just simply, his feet just went right out from under him.
Cole Belway, again the quarterback, and a handoff behind the line of scrimmage. There is a plethora of Wildcats tacklers in there.
That's one of those meet me at the ball carrier, and two guys met in the backfield, and they surrounded him and took him down immediately for a loss of about 6 yards. And going back to the footing, I would say they may not have broom ball shoes, but I'm sure somewhere around here we could find a staple gun.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. 1977 at the Big O.
41 years ago. Can you imagine? 41 years ago, guys.
I was there.
Don Sweet. Remember Don Sweet got the MVP?
Yeah.
And, that legendary game. And, guys, of course, both of you guys, Ottawa alumni, we want to encourage our videos, our viewers here on the ICU video broadcast to, if you can, donate to the relief agencies and the help back home, back in your hometown, back Ottawa and that Gatineau area. You want to talk about extreme weather, the tornado yesterday, the touchdown in the Ottawa area. Make sure you visit some websites and see if you can contribute to the relief effort there after that devastating tornado in the Ottawa-Gatineau area, guys.
Thank you very much for that, Kevin. I really appreciate it. I know my family still lives in Ottawa, and there were some very scared siblings, I can tell you that.
Some anxious moments, guys, and luckily it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like injuries and those types of things were kept to a minimum, but definitely some very, very anxious moments out east. And of course, we broadcast coast to coast, so we certainly want to encourage our fellow fans out east or across the country really to get behind the relief effort there for Ottawa following that devastating event yesterday.
All right, thank you, Kevin. And with 3:12 to go, the Calgary Colts 3rd and 12. And they will be kicking this one away. Doing the honors will be Evan Aldrich. Oh, there's a high snap, but he pulls it down. gets the kick away, gets a good one away. Actually, he was hurried down at the 55-yard line. Ball bouncing around, it's loose, but I think Jake Withrow was able to pounce on it. And we have another flag, so it'll probably be no yards.
Yeah, I think there's another no yards, Carl. As it hit the first Wildcat, either returner or kind of gunner guy, somebody was in that halo. And we talk about gunners. Let's talk about personnel for a little bit. When you talk about a punt return team, you've got gunners, which are basically the guys on the outside. So where they on offense or defense, it'd be like a receiver type of position. Those are the guys who run downfield. So they're not onside, but they're going down to corral the kicker. So usually you have 2 or 4 of them getting downfield. You also often see the center get downfield. So the long snapper often is one of the first guys to get downfield. And so you can see those guys, if they get too close, that's exactly what happens. But again, heads up job by the return team, knowing they're in the area, get your hand on the ball. Again, ideally you're catching it, but you know if the guy's in the halo, you're going to get the ball back either way and get 15 yards in this case.
Unnecessary roughness is the call against the Calgary Colts. I have a question for you.
Sure.
What is necessary roughness?
Well, necessary roughness is everything you're going to see between the 5 O linemen and the 4 D linemen right now. So if you watch what's in there, that is the necessary roughness. I also believe it's an old football film, too, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. All right, we've got 2 setbacks now this time for Cody Olsen. Olsen hands to the first one, and that would be Prankard. And he is, that is number 37, actually. Danny Johnson.
And I still think we got Barber in the game too, and so they've gone right to their young guys, and all the young guys are getting their reps, and this is valuable experience for them. Again, a game's out of hand, but again, they are there to compete. They want to continue this drive, and I guarantee you, every one of them want to get this ball into the end zone.
Barber lines up, fires, it is almost picked off. Doing a good job out there on coverage was number 8, Grayson Brooks. And he cut in front of the receiver, number 82, Nathan Levine, and almost pulled that one away.
Well, and I'm going to give Levine a little bit of grief here. Again, as a receiver, when that ball comes, if you turn around and that ball is on its way, you need to step back to that. And you could see the DB was coming down hard. If he takes one step back to that, he likes to get the reception. And again, I know what he's going through his mind. He's like, hey, we need to get the first down. If I take a step back, we may lose that. But again, he almost gave up the pick. So as a receiver, you got to help out your young quarterback by stepping back to the ball and making the catch for him.
Camerata gets another one off the side of his foot, and it actually hit the back of a Wildcat player down there, and it will be finally grounded just around the 15-yard line, but I believe it hit Tanner Holt in the back.
Yeah, getting down quickly, and again, kicking into the wind. And again, it's not a huge wind, but as you get higher in the air, there's a little bit more of a wind, and the snow's moving that way. So not a great kick. And again, they're going to add likely 15 yards to where they got the ball here.
Ball is at the 15. And they are going to move it forward. You're right. 15 yards. Coming down to the final 2 minutes of this football game. We'll see what the Calgary Colts have up their sleeves.
Let me guess, a couple deep balls and.
You think?
Well, they're having success getting in behind coverage, so we'll see if they can complete some more passes here. And
there's the play action, and rolling out to this side is Bellway. Bellway's pass is complete. A short one along the sidelines and taken by Brandon McIsaac. And McIsaac will move it forward for a gain of close to 5, perhaps 6 yards on the play. We'll see where they mark it down again.
Well, good job of Bellway, and you could see as he rolled out, one came with speed, which is really important. And you talk to your quarterbacks, if you're rolling to your left and you throw with your right, you want to try to get your hips around. And so he got his hips around, and the great thing he did, he actually kept his eyes downfield, and the ball was still up. A lot of guys will tuck the ball away, no chance to throw. You're telling the defense you're gonna take off and run, but he kept the ball up, was able to dump it off and get an 8-yard gain.
There's the handoff, right side. Again, taken by Bowers.
another difference we're seeing is the defense of the Wildcats are taking away their runs. And so we talked about in the first half, a lot of the success for the Colts, and some of it is execution on the Colts, and some of it is also the defense doing a better job. But again, their first down production is not as good all the time, and that's harder to keep drives alive. So again, their first down production was good. They managed to get the conversion and get the extra 2 yards to get another set of fresh downs.
Both the defensive and offensive lines have just taken over control here in the second half for the Wildcats. Running to his right is Belway. Belway has a man open at center field, and it is caught out there by number 84, Logan Young.
And great job. And you talked about the arm strength of the quarterback of Belway. He's doing a great job. He's executing well. He's going to need help. They're going to need support around him as they continue to build the Colts program and get kind of back to winning ways. But again, he's playing really well. He's throwing the ball well.
On the snap, the ball is fumbled by Belway. Now he takes off with it, looking to pass, and just stands back, fires it, and it's almost picked off in and out of the arms of number 24 for the Wildcats, Chase LaRose.
Yeah, you know what? Again, young quarterback, again, never advised, but just trying to make a play. And you know what? You like to see that in your quarterback. You know what? He's competitive. He knows this game isn't in the balance anymore. He's trying to make plays and give his teammates an opportunity to make a play there. That one just about off the fingers and into the arms of a Wildcat defender.
And guys, it's so great to see the Wildcat bench. We've been together for 3 years, and it's great to see the Wildcat bench having a lot of fun tonight, guys.
You betcha, Kevin, no question. Here's the pass. It is incomplete at about the 35-yard line, and again, intended for Logan Young. And that will be third and a bunch for the Colts, and they'll be forced to kick this one away.
I think they're going to leave their offense out with only 45 seconds left.
This is true.
Nothing. It can't get any worse.
And guys,
you know what? They're going to go for it here.
How about some kudos to these Wildcats fans? 2 weeks in a row. I mean, talk about a hardy group. So a big tip of the cap to the Wildcats fans who have endured literally 4 seasons in 2 weeks.
No question.
It's been pretty amazing stuff. So
great
bunch of fans, great group of people.
And we thoroughly invite. I don't think the receiver even saw that football. That was
no, he couldn't locate the ball, because if he would have, it likely would have been a touchdown. Because
if he put his arms out, I mean, it might have actually put it right in there.
4 yards in behind, but again, he couldn't locate the ball. And again, as the lights are obviously on, you look up into the dark sky with no light behind it. It is hard to locate that ball. But I see down here on the sidelines, you talk about the fans and the faithful out here in the cold weather. We've got all the young fans down there making mini footballs out of snow and throwing them at each other. So we got some young quarterbacks in the developmental program down here on the sideline.
And while it might be a slight bit nicer tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be just as many Huskies fans out here to watch them take on the Rifles as well at a 1 o'clock start. Supposed to be like 5 degrees. Boy, I could almost play golf in that.
I was going to say, Mr. Rozak, I mean, I imagine that. How many tee times have you canceled in the last 10 days?
2 or 3.
I was going to say, you've been on the phone a lot.
Yeah, you can bet
Sadly.
on that.
Sadly. But you know what? I think we're still going to get a couple of rounds in yet.
Oh, yeah. No question about
Absolutely. It can't end like this.
Monday and Tuesday.
You bet.
Keep dreaming, guys.
There's the handoff again, up the middle. As Barber just runs the clock down.
Well, now we got a penalty to stop the clock. Can't get out of this frozen tundra yet.
And post game, we're hoping to get Jaden Dalkey over to the sideline. We hope to talk to him. We will be talking to Darcy Park at the conclusion of this game as he celebrates his 20th anniversary of his association with the Wildcats. So it's a big night. It's a good night for the Wildcats. They need this win, of course, as Dave, you mentioned earlier, that the Wildcats definitely have an uphill climb. They need help. They've got to keep winning, but this is definitely a good night for this football club.
Absolutely, and as we mentioned, they go into Regina, and Regina can be beaten. And the Wildcats, with a healthy Justin Swedish, or even a well-practiced Cody Olsen, can do some damage on offense. There's no doubt about it. Camerata to kick this one away with 10 seconds or 12 seconds to go. Takes the snap and just pooches it over the sidelines. And that will stop the clock on the 50-yard line. And 7 seconds to go.
Yeah,
not sure that was on purpose or
not. No, that was. I mean, I'm sure he was angling it towards the sideline, but that off the side of his foot. You know, he had lots of time, no rush. He probably actually had too much time. Maybe he had a chance to think about it too much. But again, you know, beyond the point of where that can do some damage. But Calgary's going to have a couple shots here from the 50-yard line inside Cat territory.
Does he have a ski mask on, Camerata?
Looks like he did, yeah. He wants to stay warm. He's a smart kicker, don't worry. You got to be able to dress for the weather, and you know what? I mean, these guys
kickers are a little flaky. Yeah. They're like goaltenders. Back in the pocket now, Bellway. Pass complete over on this side. Taken by Bowers. Bowers up to the 35-yard line, and that will be it. The end of the football game, a big victory for the Edmonton Wildcats, something that they need to build on, if not for the rest of this season, certainly for the next season or two, something that is going to help them in the long run, with Justin Swedish, of course, finishing his career as a junior, and Cody Olsen coming up quickly, and another newcomer who showed pretty well, Mark Barber.
Yeah, you know what? That's what you need to do. Again, you know, the Cats aren't in a position where they have lots of games that are either out of hand one way or the other to get the young guys experience. But this is a good matchup for those young guys, and it's good for the Darcy and the coaching staff to give those kids the opportunity not only to develop as players, but I know Darcy talked also about saying, hey, you know what, we got young guys coming up behind you veterans. So if you veterans are not developing and you aren't substantially better than the young guys, you may start losing some playing time, and that's how you build the organization. And the more competitions you have at different positions, the better people rise. Like, people rise to those things, right? And players rise to those. When you know your job is in jeopardy, you're going to put a little bit more time in the weight room, you're going to put a little bit more time in the film room, and you're going to make sure you're executing on the football field. And so, again, a good opportunity for the coaching staff to say to their veterans, hey, you know, we do want to win some football games. So if you want to be part of that, you got to pull your weight, and you got to develop as a young player, and you got to continue to push your team.
All right, we're going to be ready to go downstairs in just a couple of seconds.
Just going to gather the guys here. We'll speak to we'll gather Jaden. We'll talk to Jaden first, then we'll bring in Coach Park. Come on in, Jaden. How's it? Well, a big one tonight. We've got guys. I do have guys where we got the camera right up there, Jaden. And listen, guys, I am standing next to one of the best defensive players in the country. If not the best defensive player in the country. When this team needed a boost, when it needed a lift, there you were. And you had your hands on the football a lot tonight. That's not supposed to happen.
No, it's a good feeling to be able to step up and make the plays that are needed. It was a good game. It was a good game. We stepped it up in the second half and came out fire, and it was awesome.
What happened in the room? You were only up by 6. Expectations were that you guys were really going to, take control of this football game early. What were you able to do coming out of the room?
Oh, it was all coaches, small minor adjustments that we weren't being successful with. They offensively switched it on, moved some personnel around. I think it really helped.
Now talk about just how important this win is for your football club.
I mean, this brings back the opportunity for postseason if we go out like we're supposed to and just play the way that we know we can. I think we're set up now and go into the next game with some confidence.
Now, talk about the culture of the team. This is your 5th year. We got the Dalkey Mobile, the compound at the south end of the parking lot. You've got an entourage that follows you around the league. Just how important is it, the culture that you've helped build? You've made a huge difference for this football club. Just talk to just how special of a year is it for you this year? You got a lot of football left, but you're sure working hard both on and off the field.
Yeah,
how much fun are you having this year?
It's unreal. Like you mentioned it comes a lot from the fans and the group that we have, and it's a great group of young guys that we brought out as well. It's unreal. It's a great atmosphere to be around, and it's exciting. You've seen it. Lots of people making big plays. It's exciting to be around.
And the party is on in the Dalkey Mobile.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, congratulations to you on a big win, and good luck the rest of the way. Let's bring in Coach Darcy Park here while in our ICU Procast post game. And Darcy, well, a tale of two halves. I mean, that first half, it was there was lots of mistakes, but as we were saying to Jaden as I was saying just to Jaden just a minute ago, big players make big plays when it counts, and wow, did number 21 give you a lift?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a leader. He took a holding penalty on the first kickoff return, so we'll forgive him.
You'll still have a chat with him about that.
Forgive him about that, but again, I thought, like we talked about, we wanted to establish a little bit of a run, and we did that with David, and then Swede made some great throws, receivers made catches, and that was excellent. So again, we're happy that we can have some success, and when we execute and play with tempo, we think we're pretty good. So we're just excited we get a chance to prep for a big game next week in Regina, and that's going to be our focus.
And how important was it to get the young guys? You mentioned it, before the game. We had a chance to talk. Rob and I were talking with you, and you mentioned, it's an opportunity to get the young guys out. You were able to do that. You spread the ball around. Some of these young guys got touchdowns tonight. Just how valuable was that, in terms of the coaching staff?
Well, I mean, it's huge because again, we're going on the road. We're going to have a 40-man roster, and we think we've got more depth than we've had before. So, getting guys on special teams, getting guys on tape and live action helps us in evaluation, and they've worked really hard. And unfortunately, in the last couple of years with us struggling, they get in and kind of mop up time. But we got everyone in, and everyone did well. I thought Cody went in there and in his series did really well, threw the ball well, ran well, and again, so that just gives him confidence. And again, when you get more guys on the field, when someone goes down and someone has to step in, everyone's confident that they can do the job.
Now, the Thunder lost big tonight. That's a winnable football game next week. What do you have to do to keep the momentum going?
Well, Regina's a really good football team, and they're going to, Coach McCauley's going to have them ready to go. We played him in the exhibition. We, again, have to clean up our penalties. We'll preach that, and then, again, just execute on offense and have our defense play really well. So, I mean, we're excited. Like I said, we're not, we've got a tough end to the year with Regina and the other two teams we're going to play, but right now we're just happy that we get a focus on Regina, and it means something.
Well, and congratulations on the win tonight. Congratulations on 20 years. I was going to say he started as just a little guy, just as a young guy. But this is a great way. It's a big win for you and a big win for your club on a special night.
Yeah, I mean, we've got great coaches and led by Donnie Obenauer and Natty Pilon. They've reinvigorated me with the work that they do, and again, we think our program's going in the right way. We're trying to treat the kids the right way, and winning helps that. So this is nice.
And how about those fans coming out tonight?
Yeah, I mean, our parent group and our fans are awesome. They've supported us the whole way through. I've had parents calling me, encouraging just the things that we're doing, and that just, again, makes us realize that we're doing things the right way, and people can see it.
Well, go inside, get warm. Congratulations, and go get Regina next week. Thanks a lot to head coach Darcy Park of the Edmonton Wildcats, who come away with a big 50-9 victory here at Clarke Stadium. Let's send things up to Dave Rozak and Rob Harrod upstairs in our broadcast booth, and as we wrap things up from Clarke Stadium tonight. Guys?
Thank you very much, Kevin, and nice job, and congratulations to Coach Park on just a tremendous career that he's had with the Prairie Football Conference, and prior to that, I'll tell you, what a great guy, and a pleasure to be able to work with him from week to week. Let's talk a little bit about statistics, and you look at these numbers, and they aren't all that far apart. I mean, 285 yards passing for Calgary, 203 for the Wildcats, 315 net offense for Calgary, and 358 for the Wildcats. What does that tell you?
Well, I think the big change came at halftime, and if you look at the numbers of the quarterbacks, actually, we talked about them at halftime, and Calgary's quarterback was doing a good job. He was getting the ball downfield. Cole did a good job delivering the ball on time in the right spot, and then you walked into the third quarter, and that totally changed for Calgary. He was missing guys. He was throwing, balls that were flying into the sidelines, and that changed how Calgary could even move the ball. And then on the other side of the ball, Swedish did a great job, and you look at his numbers. I think he was 58 yards maybe in the first half half, and he was, I think, up over 160 total. So again, that third quarter before he got pulled to let the young guys get some reps, he then delivered the ball, and you could see him. He found the rhythm, he found the groove. That knee didn't look like the bother him at all in the third quarter, and that offense was able to move and convert. Given the fact that it was a short field, they did a great job on converting on almost all of those.
So they are in Regina next week, and it's just one game at a time. All they need to do is keep winning and just hope that they can get lucky and in other games elsewhere. So their fate is in not only their own hands but the hands of other teams in this league, and that's all they can hope for.
Well, they can only control what they can control, and that's what they need to focus on.
And we are out of here. We want to thank you for watching our procast this evening from Clarke Park. Dave Rozak on behalf of Rob Harrod, on behalf of Dave Foley, and on behalf of Kevin Donnan. A depleted crew tonight, but as always, a great job. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you again soon.